On today's episode of Let's Talk FGO, we're here to talk to you about more Arctic Summer World. I know you want to know how the rolls went, so stay tuned for like 5 minutes. I am one of your hosts, Omega. I checked my non-existent watch. With me as always, the big ramen boy himself, Lucky.
I hope everyone is enjoying Fake Grand Order, aka Choose Your Fighter's Skin. And while we here at Omega like to bring you the latest FGO-related news and memes, we will be talking about current and future events for the JP&E version of the game, so anyone not wanting spoilers, get ready for more anniversary hype.
There'll be a lot of that.
Yeah.
Said MSG catching up with him.
It's a little bit, yeah.
I don't know what it is about ramen, but I always feel like I have to clear my throat after a bowl. It's probably the oils.
I think it's the oils.
The delicious, delicious oils.
The oils are delicious.
Anyway, hi, people at home. Welcome back. Let's Talk FGO, our regular podcast about FGO. We're here every week, in case you didn't hear me say that in like 3 wanted videos over the last week as well. Which if you did, hey, cool, thanks. Thanks for stopping by. Those videos did pretty good. I was a little, I think I said before we did them, didn't know how they would go over, but even though they were shorter, they got well above average clicks.
Excellent.
And I'm sure that Lucky and several others would be happy to know that the most popular one, outpacing even the Archetype Earth video for relative stats, was Ibuki.
This is good and proper.
Summer Scotty is lagging behind a little, but that may have been because I actually used the FTH letter inner name for the name, because I thought it was funnier, because I did a whole 2 bullet point tangent about that. Also, sorry if I coughed. My lungs are still confused. In this case, it's probably my allergies, which is also why I probably sound slightly nasally right now. I took some stuff before we started. I'm hoping it gets out. But I did have a runny nose and a lot of sneezing earlier today. So if some of that sneaks into the final audio edit, I'm sorry. It is outside my control. But yeah, I did have a small tangent about the fact that technically her name should probably be pronounced Skafi, because that's what the weird bendy D is. But unlike actually saying Skahak correctly, not Skad'S, Skafi hasn't really caught on. I don't even know if I have to re-listen to her lines. I don't think she says it that way. I have to double check. Because, like, the way that, in Japanese they pronounce Skahak is, Skahasa. It's a little off, but, they're working with, they're making their best effort to make those sounds work out in Japanese. But, that did mean that I put a non-standard character in the title of the video, which probably affects the searchification. So, we'll see if Scotty picks up a little. Anyway, before we go any further, let us real quickum give a shout out to our patrons, like Adam Hart, Blacklist OG, Call Me Zed, Carlos Dragon, JDB9000, Just the Fake, Kaiser, Starlight, Legendary Boss Hunter, Rise of Kenji, Rogue Robin, Charvor, some guy named Bob, and Varian the Crow. If you like what we do and want to see us do more, consider supporting us on Patreon. You can get episodes early, and everyone helps us out. Thank you for your support.
Thank you.
You may have heard a weird hitch there where I inhaled and got some phlegm, and I was a little worried for a second, but I managed to hold it in until I was done. Alright, thank you, patrons. They got to see The Wanted slightly early. Some maybe would have been earlier than others, but I'll tell some stories over the past week when we get later in the episode. For now, that means, after our yonder wonderful introductions, it is first time to check in with everybody's favorite Kohai, Mesh.
Senpai, 起きてください.
Because it is time for Wake the Fuck Up Senpai, our regular set for Pro Tips. Also, I believe somebody commented last week and was like, man, the audio seems really quiet this week. I did not reply to them, but my mental thought was, nah, that's just how it was last week, man. We were tired. We were lowballing. I'm trying to keep the energy up.
Up!
You can't see this, obviously, Lucky, but in Audacity, you made a rectangle.
I don't know how I made a rectangle.
It's like a perfect box of a sound. I do not know how you did that either. Anyway, okay. We're checking in with MASH. Pro tips. We got a couple of those. Firstly, hey, don't forget about your profit from your amusements. I think a few people commented on this. There's a little button. It's on the upper right hand of your screen. It says collect profits. It will flash when there is something for you to collect, and also there is a notification setting so you can get push notifications when one or more of your attractions is full up. Also, don't forget to spend your ice boxes to improve those, obviously. You're going to need to do that if you want to make sure you get all your NP copies and other funny stuff. And second, just a general note that I feel like we say every couple of months because it keeps happening, but man, filters are crazy these days. I swear that every 3 months, usually with some of these filters being new, but not always. Lucky or somebody else will post an image of filters and be like, oh man, I had no idea you could do this. And there's almost always at least one guy, usually multiples, who are just like, I've just learned this.
Yeah, no, I realized this event that they actually had event to bonus CE filters. And not event bonus CEs, but event bonus filters, like the damage bonus. You could actually filter servants by how big or small bonus they get for summer. And I was just like, oh.
Yeah, I think that's new because I don't remember that being a thing before. But that's very.
That's
handy.
the thing. I never know what's new or not. I really don't.
Yeah.
Like I was playing Nikkei the other day, and I realized that they gave me the ability to make my own playlist in the jukebox. And I was like, did they just add this? And someone was like, no, they added that last update. I was like, oh, neat. Yeah. So I never take it for granted. It's just I could just be dumb and have missed it. Lucky as dumb has been a mantra I have been saying for the past couple days.
But yeah, it is that's a very handy feature as well. And if you didn't already know, this is definitely old, but there is, because, when Lucky slightly misspoke earlier, there is a feature to actually sort between your event bonus type of, servant or CE. But now there's more if you go down.
Even more.
Which is always just a really good time to figure out more filtering. It's very handy.
I'm always down to clown with more quality of life.
Yeah.
It helps.
That means it's time for Records from the Throne, our regular achievement topic.
There's a bit more than 5 minutes, I bet.
Yeah, this is in the YouTube video, this is where there's going to be a little peek for the most watched. Maybe not literally the most watched. I should actually go back and check some of our more recent videos and see where people are most watching. I'm going to be honest, for us, it's probably like a big hill like at the front that kind of like goes down and levels out, because I think if you can stand to listen to us for about 30 seconds... most viewers are locked in for the whole video. I don't know if there's a lot of going back and re-listening. Anyway, it's records. We do this for lots of things, but in this case, it's about rolls. Obviously,
big rolls.
Last week I had rolled a little bit for Summer Gareth, and we had actually chipped in, but I didn't want to go whole hog because there were multiple more banners, so I wrote mine down first, so I will go first. Because it was a wacky, wild time, and I have a lot less Saint Quartz now. Shocking, I know. But we held it out. I think I still had like 600-something, 500-something from when I went for Gareth. So we went in for Ibuki. We secured like NP3 Edise before I got my first Ibuki, but we did get an Ibuki. It took a little bit. I was a little concerned, but we got there. And then I decided to do my next step, which was, okay, we got one Ibuki. I'm going to do what I said. I'm going to go back for at least NP2 on Gareth, which we did do. Exactly one more NP on Summer Gareth. I stopped because I also got NP2 Lady Avalon along the way. This was not planned, but it happened. So then I was like, okay, we're gonna cut our losses and run. And I do want NP2 Ibuki, but I was like, we'll try out the Summer Scotty banner first before we go crazy. So we did do that, and I got Summer Scotty at like the first head spin. It was literally right away. I do not have a Summer Woo because I took my ball and went home. We get the SSR right off the top. We're like, okay, we're stopping. I'm getting out of here. I'm going for NP2 Ibuki. Which, yes, that also worked out. We have NP2 Ibuki. I scored a 4th, I think, Edise. NP2 Ibuki. We're cooking. I decided to, cut my luck at the second Ibuki. And also because I started Summer, the very first Summer banner, with like 800 Saint Quartz, I now have like 85. So, we've reverse decimated my Saint Quartz stock. But we scored pretty good. The only miss is Summer Woo, which I will live with in this context. We've gotten Summer Ibuki and Summer Gareth's Smiles protected. We're working on the others. I'm also pretty sure I've got at least one of every CE, and I have so many MLBs in some of these CEs. I did not keep good count of the Saint Quartz. The run for NP number 1 on Summer Ibuki got pretty deep. I think that took me down from, like I said, like somewhere in the 600 range to like 100 or 200-ish. It was a while. It was a little scaly. But also, in other news, clearing this event, because, it took me a little bit to level up, got Bond 10 on my Summer Musashi. Perfectly placed to rotate in another SSR Berserker.
Yay?
Yeah. But that is my story.
Alright, so let me just grab the microphone and bring it on over here, because let's talk about what Lucky did. So, right off the bat, I'll tell you right now, unlike Omega, I have nothing left. Nothing. I have spent every single 10 spin I have. Maybe a foolish decision, especially with what I could have had, but let me walk you through this here. So, all in all, I think I spent around 2,500 Saint Quartz. I had about, like 16 to 1,700, like, saved up beforehand, and I bought, like, 4 or 5 wool packs. I don't know, I'm not keeping full track, but it is over 2,000 Saint Quartz. Like I said, I've been saving up for a while, at least, since the beginning of the year. Saved all my anniversary quartz, all that stuff. I've usually just been using tickets to get stuff, or attempt to get stuff. So, like I said, I didn't roll on the first banner to begin with, because while Lady Avalon and Gareth are neat, that is not where my heart lies. I was all in on that Summer Buki. My original goal was to go for NP2. So, imagine my fucking surprise when I start rolling on the Summer Buki banner, and I get her in my first 10 spin. I was, elated, over the moon. I thought, things might be grand. But, I wanted that NP2, so I decided to keep rolling. On my 7th 10 spin, I got my second one. And unfortunately, this is where Lucky got cocky.
The greed got to you. You were, yeah.
Yeah. So mark this. In 210 Saint Quartz, I got 2, excuse me. I got 2 Summer Buki.
That is better a score than I did, for sure.
Yes. And then, it wasn't until probably my last 90 quartz that I got MP3 Summer Buki. This is from my original stash of about 1,700. So, actually, let me do some quick math here. 300. So, and 1,300 quartz, no Summer Buki. I did get a Galatea, which is a feeling all unto its own. Let me tell you. You see a gold Berserker card and you're like, yes, and then you're like, no. And of course, throughout this entire process, I drowned in Aries. I think I got a total of 11. But again, Lucky has committed to this bid. So I popped open my secret savings that I have been secretly saving, so I can save, and did it. And fortunately for me, I was able to get another 2 copies of Ibuki for, I can't remember the math entirely off the top of my head, but it was like either like 3 or 4 big packs, which, to be completely fair, is really good. Again, this is like my first mirror rolls, getting the rate up SSR within one pack is pretty good. I think generally my ideal thing is if you should usually get an SRR, some sort of SSR within like 2 big packs of Saint Quartz. Usually, I think that's like, that's how many, if we're going on strict,
let me see, how many rolls are in a big pack and an 80 pack?
5? Well, 5, cause it's like 167. So I think if you buy 2 of them, that's enough for 11 rolls total. I think, maybe.
Yeah, and 11 10 spins. It's a 1% chance. So
yeah,
10 or 11 10 spins that should see some kind of SSR in that range. Probably.
Yeah, probably. If we're going by strict statistics. So the fact that I was able to get them good, it's just that really weird feeling of like, man, I did really good at the beginning and really good at the end, but my middle was just atrocious.
God, yeah, no, I know that one. That's because like I said, my pull for Ibuki was a little more daunting than I thought it would be. Like, there's that moment of just like, like I said, I cleaned up my Gareth really easy. We're rolling an Aries and we're just like, all right, cool, we're going great. Let's roll it through. And obviously, my back end when I'm like, okay, we got Summer Skadi instantly. I'm leaving this banner. I'm getting out of here, and I'm gonna roll for that NP2. But the middle is just like, boy, howdy, we did a lot of pushing buttons, huh?
Yeah. But, like I said, I was able to get my MP5. I had enough savings to buy 1 more big pack, and I had like 30 quartz saved up. So I was like, alright, the goal has been achieved. And this is the part where I had to, like, search my fucking soul and be like, okay, do I want to start saving up for, Tiamat, Draco, Durga, my big desires for next year, or do I want to go for the Woo and Skadi? Now, I had to consider this. I had to consider this hard, because I only had 30 quartz, enough for 1 big pack, and I would not be able to get any more. This would literally be the limit of my disposable income. This is everything I've been saving for the past half a year, and I decided to go for it. I did. So when the Summer Scotty and Summer Woo banner came out, I rolled. On my second spin, I got a Summer Scotty. I was very pleased. My luck was good. Again, I had to ask myself, do I really want that Caster Woo? And I was like, yes, you do, Lucky. Don't lie to yourself. So I kept rolling, and on my second to last 10 spin, well, a quartz available for a 10 spin. I hope that makes sense to you all. I got her. So I have NP1 Summer Scotty, NP1 Caster Woo, NP5 Summer Ibuki, and NP5 Summer Arise. So with that, I decided to push my luck, and I did go back to the first banner to see if I can get a Gareth or a Lady Avalon, but no luck. I'm not sure, but I think the summer banners will last into the new month, where we get tickets and stuff.
Should, yes. At least a few of them, because let's see,
yes.
26th now? Let me check those summer banners. To the news. So yeah, when does the Lady Avalon one end? Yeah, that doesn't end until the 7th of August.
Yeah, so I'll probably spend tickets on there and see if I get them, because as it is. But with all that, all of these summer smiles have been protected. Even Galatea, like I said, it's a little upsetting that she showed up, but I didn't have her, so I can't be that mad.
And you did still hit your. I mean, hypothetically, she could have been the NP6. But you got your 5. You may or may not, need to roll for Summer Ibuki ever again.
No. Well, like I said, I think it's usually said you need the NP6 if you want to get all the append skills.
If you wish to perfect, yes, because you want to go 120 and all append skills maxed, you need the coins from NP6 for the moment.
I think if I just skip on one append skill, I might be okay, and I think I can live without maybe like the extra damage. She's a
berserker, so I think that means that the third skill is just like crit resistance,
let me
not the special damage. I'd probably go for the mana loading. Hell, I'm probably gonna go for the mana loading as well.
Honestly, I'm probably gonna go for the mana loading.
That's what I did for my Musashi. And like I said, my Musashi hit bond 10. He says, implying that he didn't spend one of his 12 bond grails he has lying around immediately. Listen, my Musashi's very juiced, but at least with the damage bonus in this event, man, Ibuki's crazy, y'all.
Ibuki is crazy.
I'm doing the fucking 90, not the plus, because that one requires thinking, but I'm doing the regular 90 plus node, and just brute forcing with a few batteries. I'm doing over 1 million damage on that last wave with double Castoria Ibuki.
Yeah, I'm not everyone knows me. I am oddly stubborn about my setup, so I've not been doing any double setups, but I'm still able to hit pretty hard. I haven't perfected her looping setup yet. It does seem like it might be a little more wibbly wobbly than it was with Musashi, but I am still getting in there. I just might have to fine tune some
are a
more
little chaotic, but and also, I mean, what I'm realizing is that the secret, the part about that makes double Castoria broken is just the double NP gain up. Yep. That's really what makes this crazy. The two of them give you 100% battery, and then you get crazy NP gain for 3 turns. I think there are units which can do a similar amount of NP gain without doubling. If he's fully upgraded, I think Paracelsus' Philosopher's Stone does also a huge NP gain buff that's targetable. So there's definitely a way to do it. But in the event, like I said, I don't even know if you damage-wise, you don't actually need the 2 Castorias to actually kill the enemies.
Oh no, there has definitely been some not even equipping the damage CE. I've had my Summer Ibuki hit over 2 million.
Yeah. To remind everybody, and also if you didn't happen to check the one in, Ibuki is the highest attack of Berserkers. Period. She is in the number 3 highest attack in the goddamn game slot. She is the bronze medal of every servant ever, and I think that's still current. So that includes future-proofing. So, yeah, it's crazy. I mean, Maid Altar is pretty good. I think her problem is that she was quick aligned a year or 2 before it was cool. So her coaching kit doesn't line up with the rest of quick support. It's very funny to me, just as a general comment, guys, to look back at support, because, I do a little team comp section at Wanted and think about, what's cool, and it's yeah, I think Summer Scotty's pretty good for, because there are red-green hybrid units. She's probably not as crazy as them releasing Lady Avalon, who is literally Merlin, but we switched all the red to blue, and also made some of the skills better. and Ibuki, who's crazy good. But Summer Scotty is also got some really good potential, especially if you want to consider the fact that she has tough defenses, so you may be in fighty situations.
Yeah, no, Summer Musashi, they both have an MP rate up, but Summer Buki's only maxes out at 30%, while Summer Musashi's at 50%. So I gotta figure out how to make up that 20% somehow.
Well, funnily enough, Summer Scotty's NP is AoE quick and is damaging. So you will actually use it occasionally. That's the funny part about Summer Scotty, is it's like she's...
Did I say Summer Scotty? I meant to say Summer Buki.
No, you said Summer Buki. I was talking about
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, Ibuki's got the NP gain. No, what I was saying is that I think that Summer Scotty is actually a little closer to regular Skahak in terms of how her kit works, because you can technically use some of those buffs as targetable, so you can use it as support. But also, you could just put all those targetable buffs on herself, and you have a pretty strong AoE attacker. She's got 5 or 6 hits on her NP. I don't remember the exact number. Which also does mean, once again, funnily enough, I'm pretty sure Summer Scotty is dual Scotty compatible. If you build a 3 Scotty team, you can probably loop. It's very funny. But yeah, she does a few things. It's an interesting one, and everybody should check out Wanted. I do good work on those. Even though I'll talk more about that circumstance later, but I bet you did the Scotty video. I was like, hey, I'm sorry if this video is more compressed than usual, because I had one less day to work with for reasons. All right, but that's the scores. Got lots of NPs up. I also got NP 3 Roland in there somewhere, but I think that might have been on my first block of rolls.
I also got a smattering of other SRs and stuff that I didn't have. I can't remember who they were for life in me, but I remember I got one up to NP4, another up to NP5, and another NP3.
Yeah, I think.
Fortunately, I didn't write it down at the moment, so it has unfortunately completely fled my mind.
It was a lot of rolls. You said you spent over 2K save points. It was a lot of rolls. But yeah, what time was this rolling? Was it in bed at 4 a.m.?
Oh no, this was
I know some of your rolls were right after we finished the 14 stream, but
yeah, no, it was all there.
Okay, well, it still is at night after we were doing something. But yeah, no, I think Roland was on my first banner roll, so he technically spooked me while I was rolling for Gareth. Thanks a lot, bud.
Spookums.
Other than that, I don't think I had any gnarly spooks, which is a net positive for me. It is a pretty wild run at summer. Usually, I am not this good. I fear for next year. But you can say that technically I was wrong about the Lady Avalon thing, because I got 2 of them while I was going for NP2, Gareth. All right, let us check in with did you finish your master missions real quick? Because we don't technically have any evil, because we were mission accomplished.
So, fun fact, Ibuki's third skill is anti-alter ego crit chance resistant. It's very specific.
Yeah, that's probably safe to skip. Obviously, for as we usually say, for bragging rights, going maximum would be cool, but that's probably not necessary. It's, as often with Appen skills, very hilarious because I know why she has anti-alter ego, but it's probably not needed for her kit. Anyway, did you finish your master missions? That's right. That's where I was. They're very simple. You need to defeat 15 humanoid enemies. You can get 50 each of the currency drops or frappes. I almost said frap, but I know it's frappe.
Is it frappe?
Oh. Yeah, there's the little slant over the E. It's the rising. That said, I think you can call it a frap and not get bullied out of a Starbucks. Also, I'm gonna be honest, if Starbucks tries to bully you for saying things wrong, Starbucks can die. They invented funny haha words for coffee. They decided to use Italian names.
I do not use those terms at all. I go to Starbucks every once in a while, and I never actually say a size. I always just say, "Give me the biggest." If I'm going to Starbucks, I ain't getting anything small. Fuck you guys.
That's fair. That works. But yes. Snow Globes, 50 Valkyrie years, and then complete 5 quests, and then complete 10 quests. So, do the event, chat. I mean, it's coffee, so... I don't actually know. I think I haven't had any of the weird, funny drinks that you probably should get at a Starbucks. I've only ever gotten, a normal-ass latte at Starbucks. Or a black coffee and applied cream, because I'm just well, I'm in an airport and I need coffee, and Starbucks is the only coffee here. Also, Starbucks is kind of expensive.
You're buying a franchise just as much as you're buying coffee.
It's true. All right. Well, that'll be the news in a second, but I need to step away, so I'll be right back.
He's stepping.
Hope that some of that last bit was caught. Anyway, also, wow. I guess telling the rolling story was good. We're at almost 30 minutes.
Nice.
Okay, alright. I'm resuming energy levels. Scalograms. It's all JP news today, because the only thing coming out in NA is summer, baby. I believe our next event is... Actually, do we have anything on the block for August? Is August the mystery month, chat? Is it going to be our super secret Fate's Day Night release? Anyway, the JP news. Number 1. As I continue to predict, Summer Catch-Up Part 3 banners, going from the 24th until the 3rd of August. It's the Summer 1 special. You got Tomo, Mordred, Anne, and Mary, and Artoria, Martha, Mary. Marie, as opposed to Anne and Mary. So yeah, the classics, back for their 500th banner. But this is also why I think I said, like, all through the once-its recently, I was like, hey, also, like, there'll probably be a banner in JP soon, so you probably got some 2 years ahead. Okay, so we should have a 1 million downloads campaign in there somewhere. So only get 5 things. 5 things. The main thing that JP is doing right now, because they're doing the same thing we were doing literally a month ago, which was killing time until anniversary. So we've got Hunting Quests 14, 24th until the 30th. So far, they have shown off proofs, gears, and also some reactor cores, but as golems, so it's also octuplet gems. I do not think we have, because usually they wait until, like, the back half to start giving you the funny little ha-has, but I haven't heard anybody freaking out online about any weird spawns or clues in the Hunting Quests yet, so keep your eyes peeled. This will come back to a bullet point that's later in the show notes. But there's also logins and master missions as usual. Get some gold apples, get some extra shit. And also, a couple days after that got started, they have the FGO Expo Fate Grand Order Fez 2024 9th Anniversary Countdown Campaign. It almost didn't fit on a single line. That started the 26th. Will be going until the 14th of August. It is the usual anniversary countdown stuff. Log in for EXPs, QP, and teapots, or TPs if you want me to keep doing that consonants. But also they listed that they're going to have special rewards as well, including some anniversary memorial quest type things going on. This will give you summon tickets and also be how you're going to get your CE exchange tickets. The first one of those is on the 31st, though, so we have a few days still. But it does mean they're getting ready to set that up. But we don't have the full CE and exchange list yet. And I do actually have this pulled up, so because they've said the pavilion quests we're going to get. So you're going to get the Ryoma's Close Call pavilion quest. Got to clear Fuyuki and be ready to do that. That'll give you your first ticket. They've also got one for the classic, the second Guda Guda Pavilion quest. These seem to be broken up by days. Is actually going all the way back to the original Guda Guda Honoji.
Oh, wow.
Do some deep cuts. The second one will be a Saber Wars Pavilion, so it'll be Saber Wars 2 quest, and then a Battle in New York Space Odysseus versus Tesla quest. Which I guess does mean that we are canonically placing Space Odyssey versus Tesla in the Saber Wars timeline.
Okay.
Interesting. Sorry. This next one is called the Learn Doesn't Get It Pavilion Quest. We seem to just be taking some of our side manga stuff. The first one is going to be a quest based on all the statesmen, but the second one is the first Servafez, and the last one is both quests are related to last year's summer event, the sequel to the Servafez. And the final one of those does have a question mark reward listed. I assume it's some kind of special anniversary celebration CE. But you clear all these, you'll get 5 summon tickets, the 2 CE exchange tickets. Yes, sadly, we're still at 2. I cry every time.
Every time.
But yes, we're doing a little bit more of the event-based memory. And as you heard from Lucky's audible surprise, yeah, we're doing some deep cuts. Going all the way back to remember the original Guda Guda Honoji? Crazy. Hey, maybe regular Archer Nobu will get a rank up this year. Did they put her in the Evocation Festival chat in the exchange shop? I don't remember if they did. I think they did. I don't remember if she got a rank up at the same time. But regular Nobu is a unit that is definitely outclassed by the flexibility of, more modern units. She was pretty good when she came out, but we've done a lot of different stuff. But yeah, so the for realsies countdown stuff starts the 31st, but you can start logging in and accruing like limited master missions and stuff at this time. And also, this is just, okay, yeah, she was in evocation already. Yeah, so yeah, they can totally get away with a rank up. But, the other thing I wanted to bring up is, I mentioned this earlier, sorry, I tried to put my hand in position to raise my mic arms slightly, and I ended up doing a full spin of my pop filter. But the main thing is that currently, internet detectives are melting down, trying to figure out who the anniversary servant is. And it's pretty interesting. In general, I think some people are just getting a little too deep in the tank with this one. Trust me, I know the desire to start getting out your colored twine. It's real fun.
It is fun.
People are getting a little too gassed up. A theory that I've definitely seen going around on Twitter and also in our Discord is some people are like guaranteed thinking it will be Altruge Brunstead, who is called Ark's sister, but not literally her sister. It's weird because Nasu likes to overcomplicate vampires. It's just a pause and me blinking at the screen. Which I'm sure would be super cool, but also, to my knowledge, officially there has never been an actual physical depiction, a visual, which shows what Altruge looks like. So, I mean, that'd be very cool for a 9th anniversary, but it would be, like, super unprecedented. So, there's a lot of stuff going on. Also, yes, thank you for I love this meme that Axe posted.
It's true.
They're like, please take one. And then you're just like, Grim, skedaddle,
Scarborough.
But yeah, somebody in our patron chat pointed out the wiki doesn't even have a picture for, so like, that, yeah, again, it'd be real neat, but it would be, like, super unprecedented. Also, just in general, there are a lot of, like, descriptions. People are doing comparisons between the logos and some of the other stuff here. Like, technically, there was probably a hint in year 8, because a lot of the, like, patterns there matched the yukata that Morgan was wearing in the promo poster, which, since it turned out to be Ash plus Summer Morgan, was, like, a thing, but also, like, were any of you gonna fucking guess it? I remember last year, the 8th year, being everybody was dead convinced it was gonna be Abe no Seimei.
I was one of them.
I mean, it would have lined up pretty good, but it's also, like, I don't know. The only thing I learned from this comparison is that Takeuchi really likes the color combination of dark blue, gold, and white. That's what I learned about anniversaries. But yeah, I personally, I genuinely don't know. We do have a poster and like a logo for the actual FGO Fez, working through all that. But the only thing I pick up from that is that, it has Koyanskaya in it. That's neat. Do I actually think it's going to be the third Koyanskaya? Probably not. It could be that if they were like, because that would basically, like, we've done, we're alternating now. We did the thing where, like, Lady Avalon probably would normally be the an anniversary servant, but she got tucked into a summer, and then we did Ash, but Ash has an Ascension, which is Summer Morgan, as a preview for the summer. So, like, we could go back and forth, and it could be somehow be like the swimsuit Koyanskaya. I don't think that's true though.
Nah. I definitely think there'd be a Summer Koyanskaya, but I don't think they'll use that for the anniversary.
Yeah. I've heard some people thinking it might be like Amaterasu or otherwise like Super Tamamo. I mean, that wouldn't be terrible. It's been,
I would love another Tamamo face.
Yeah.
Like actual Tamamo.
It's been
I love
classic,
my Koyanskaya.
Yeah, Koyanskaya is great, but we have very clearly defined she is not Tamamo. And it would be a nice break from the fact that we have had Takeuchi drawing basically his heroine face for like 3 years in a row. No offense to all those lovely ladies, they're all very unique and special, and a lot of people are like, same face. And it's not really true. You can see, like, our JP chat right now has a decent comparison. They're not actually, like, that similar. But they are all blonde, and they do all have at least one Ascension with very similar color schemes. That, I think, like I said, is just, we're back there. But I've seen, like, crazier shit, people back for Abe, as always, who, again, I wouldn't mind, and has actually, like, technically been an FGO character, but also I don't think he's visually appeared in any Fate works yet, either. I've seen some people being like, ooh, well, we've got a 6-pointed star, which is the Seal of Solomon, but also forms the silhouette of Saint Quartz. So, like, I don't know, man. We will just have to see. But yes, people are speculating. I think somebody put it the best way in that JP discussion, which is there is usually a connection between the press materials and the logo to the servant that does appear, but it is not necessarily a pattern. Like, usually they're borrowing, like, colors and maybe some other design elements, and, like, there are, like, references in the patterns, but it's also really hard to guess because it's not, like, literally a pattern. It's we use some visual elements. I joked that because, people are like, oh, it's going to be Ultrash. I joked. But the color of the number is blue, therefore it'll be Seal. Which it could be. I don't fucking know, man. It could be that. We'll see.
Lucky will continue to huff that copium for Toko.
I mean, hey, you're not the only one. I've seen some posts like on Twitter and stuff where people are like, all right, which big character it will be? And it is characters, like Toko, like Seal, major type moon characters. So, other people are willing to bet.
Ooh, a right to anniversary. Dangerous.
I would think that, but I'm also like, does that mean no more right to Summers? Like, is his list complete? Technically,
listen, we need listen. Well, it won't probably be till next year, but we're gonna need a summer Ushi-Gozen.
It's true. That'd be a good
it's
one.
True.
And also, I just said, tapping my forehead in classic Think meme style. Technically, there hasn't been a summer Shuten. I mean, mostly I think that's just because regular Shuten dresses way skimpier than a bikini. But listen, Raita does some great costume designs. He could go a little crazy. Give me a fucking summer man costume for Moriarty. Give me beach bum Mori. Give me old man Moriarty. He needs a straw hat. He needs some huge sunglasses. I'm just
I could see something like a summer explorer.
Ooh, yeah. Get him some khakis.
Mm-hmm.
Wrap a scarf around his neck. That was, talking about the Jiangxi Shuten. I was very surprised that made it in as a Sprite. I think that was a CE first, but I was like, okay,
yeah,
right, we're just doing it.
I believe that was an anniversary CE.
Yes. Was that this year or was that last year?
I believe it was last year.
But yeah, no, they just pulled it out, and I was like, well, okay, shit.
How dare.
It was how dare. But yes. Hey, people at home, feel free to fire in and throw your best guesses of the anniversary servant, in the text. We'll find out in a little bit. I don't think it'll be next week's show, because I think it's the Fez is that weekend, maybe? Do we have a festival dates?
I thought it was a little bit sooner than that, but I could have been wrong.
Hey, it might be sooner. We're gonna record next on the 2nd. I think the anniversary date is technically it's all like the 28th or 29th over there, but I don't know what our streaming schedule is like.
It looks like it starts. Yeah, it's 8/3/8/4, and that would be. Yeah, it would be. Yeah, it's. We will just miss it.
Yeah, so it'll be for it to be covered on this. It'll be a couple weeks, but that'd be how it be. It's like a Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Well, technically, it'll be a Saturday-ish for us, depending on time zones exactly, but that's how it goes. But that's everything in Them's News.
So, with that, it is time for this week's Let's Talk FGO Mailbag, the segment where we read what you have to say and comment accordingly. This week, we have 7 lovely, lovely comments, and we can get through them all. And we'll begin right now. This first one comes from Monster Girl Aficionado, who says, Dear Lucky and Omega, no question this week. Just sending good vibes, and wishing you well. Keep up the great work. Thank you very much, and same to you. I hope things are going swell wherever you are.
Glib. That's a joke that's not going to make sense outside of the live context. Do we still have very glib as a button?
We might, but also we can't say that because that might be offensive to people who are mute. I have heard that is the reason why that line got removed.
Listen, I appreciate Final Fantasy 14-1 to be accessible, but it is a well-known fact. The Warrior of Light is not mute. You just didn't talk much during AAR, probably because you were fucking confused.
Also, I'm gonna be real. Do you really want to try and respond to Flying Gaius Val Balsar? You want to get in debate with that man? He'll just shoot you.
I would love to see, what the team that wrote some of the responses you can make in Endwalker and Dawn Trail if they gave me 3 bullet points. When Gaius asks me, tell me for whom do you fight? I'd love to see what they cook up. Even if you had an actual response, he would just say, how very glib. I hope someday they feel comfortable bringing how very glib back. It's a great line. It's part of the vibes. Yeah,
you just eye narrow at him.
I think that is the actual. Because I think I remember. I think I did the original scene just before they did cut it. It's all you do is when he says, he asks you who you fight, you just go, yeah. And then he responds. He's just like, oh, neat. And these days I'm just like, guys, can you shut up and can we fight already? Just turn golden. How did you know I could turn golden? Gaius, I've done this so many times, and these cutscenes are unskippable. But we're level synced, so I can't do double down to you.
Like, I can do this too!
Your big DPS check, fight ending move. That's just one of my normal funny ha free damage buttons. It does at least take 2 charges. Anyway, we got a little of the weeds in the mailbag.
That's alright, we can get in the weeds.
The weed bag.
Weed bag! So, this next one comes from a lazy master trying to get his cardio back up. This is important. After actually we get done recording, I should probably take Buster for a walk before I sit back down for a game or whatever. I'll remember that. But they say, hello, Lucky Omega. Hope both of you are doing well today. I want to ask you if you had a 4-star servant appear to you so often that you consider them to grailing them to 100 as a future goal. This is my thought process after getting MP15 Arise. Jesus.
That broke the Summer Mama limit.
Yeah, that broke the Summer Law limit. I think, shit, I spent so much course, I only got 11 of her. Shit. I counted. While reaching for a Buki, thank you much both for your videos as always, and do your best to sleep well. Lucky's not doing his best to sleep well. I stayed up to 4 a.m. playing Remnant 2 with Aaron last night. We had a great time. There was much screaming. There was many burning buildings, and we had to fight a fucking spooky fey ghost in a fucking rundown insane asylum. Good times! You actually might like this game, Omega.
More than later. Well, yeah, actually, I put it in the what's up for later. I had this thought the moment I read the intro line of the mailbag. I was just like, I did actually look at it because it's one of the monthly games. But I did not immediately download it because it was a 75 gig install on my PS5, and I was just like...
Oh, is it 7? I didn't even pay attention to shit.
Yeah, no, I was like, okay, maybe I'll get some feedback first before I just plug that in.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
But yes, no, my sleeping habits, wrecked. I did not wake up until noon today because I was up until 4 with Aaron. But we had fun times. We did. But, when it comes to 4-star servants, not really. How many times I roll for them really doesn't play into things. Like I said, while we do have grail casting and whatnot, grails are still a semi-limited resource, so I don't want to spend them willy-nilly. I didn't mention this in Records from the Throne because it kind of slipped my mind, but my Ibuki is level 100 and 10 right now. She is, her ass is the fattest. I might make it even fatter, I don't know. But, so I don't usually grail for things. I usually save grails for, units that I really, really like, or I find really, really useful. The only reason Summer Musashi didn't get grails is because I knew I was gonna be going all in on Summer Ibuki. So, no. The only oh god, let's see here. I've grailed several 4-stars, but again, it's the ones I like. All my Sakura faces are level 90 minimum. All of them. 2 of my Tamamos are 120. The other one is, 100, and both my Kamas are 100. Probably will be getting a Buki up to a regular ass Buki up to 100 here soon enough.
Well, my phone is fully charged, but I am in the middle of a fight, so I can check on my grailed servants in a second. But I've grailed a few, but like Lucky, it's not usually just they showed up a shitload. It's I like that servant, so I rolled them a lot.
Oh yes, and both my Cohen Skies are 100 as well. I should not forget them. So, I grail a fair amount, but usually it's units that I find very, useful in areas and stuff, so that's usually my grailing. Now I actually have to consider who I want to grail to 100 next, because I gotta save... I want Draco next year, but I think I want Draco mostly because it's a beast, and she's, super one of a kind.
She's, yes, very special, unique. Also, that's sort of third ascension. Chef's
No, it's good shit! It's the good shit, but it's it's one of those things if I have to choose between Draco and Tiamat, I'm gonna choose Tiamat, 10 out of 10 times.
Yeah.
So...
extra, it's all about the horn level. Also, not really. I think Tiamat gets maybe one more banner than Draco. Maybe. The main thing is that Tiamat's going to be more accessible on GSSRs and Destiny and stuff. Because they have been fairly stingy with putting Draco in the GSSR pools. They've been very careful about some of that stuff. Because she is supposed to be, very special. It's one of those weird cases where it's I don't know what the chicken and egg is, because it's on the one hand, Mother Harlot Draco is really, really strong, but she's also really, really rare, and I don't some people are I can't believe they would, make this meta unit so, in demand and accessible. But also, did they make her, really good because she is the only beast class unit in the game, and they wanted to actually, make it worth it because they knew they weren't going to let you roll on her very often. So I don't actually know because either way, she's in demand.
Mhm.
So I don't know for sure, but yeah, no, I don't actually know if Tiamat gets more banners per se. Actually, this is completely unrelated, but I'm thinking about it. For Lucky and everybody else at home, hey, what ascension is your Ibuki?
Me, I leave mine in third. I am usually fine with leaving my servants in their third ascension.
Third's pretty good. The Sheather one is pretty good. I kind of wish that we could mix and match a little because I like the dragon hat from the first. That's very funny to me, but all of them are pretty good. And I haven't unlocked it yet, but I do have my Ibuki's costume permit as well. Because, of course, Raida draws a fucking servant, and he has to add an extra color scheme we don't need as a costume. You just know he did it. I think I've actually grilled my Gorgon. You should consider that. My Medusa is 80. And chat, I don't actually know if you heard it here first, but I'll say, you heard it here first. If I get Saber Medusa, 100. Easy. Easy clap.
Easy. But
That's what I did for my Rin phases, was I said I'd grill him to Hundo, which I did do. Okay, completed the quest, fought the fight. Let me check. I wish there was. Is there a filter option for Grailed?
I don't know. I would probably just go by level. Well, no, if they're only at level 90, they probably still get mixed in with all the other ones.
Let's try to find max level filter. Let's see. No, it does not look like there is specifically one for Grail 5. Well, yeah, I don't think I've actually pushed any of my 4 stars to 100. I have a few at 90, but I haven't gone the 100 level.
I am ashamed. I forgot to mention my Bargus is level 100. That is super important.
This question is my Bargus not 100? I thought I did do her up. Let's see her in the list though. Yeah, okay, sure. She's only 90 right now. Let me put some more in that.
Because I love her.
Yeah, I've got Canis at 90. I've got Bargus at 90. But also, I'm just to let chat know how much of a freak I am. In addition to the classic 4 stars to 90, Python, Bargus, Canis, etc. I not only have grailed my Medusa to 80, but also my regular Gareth to 80. My Gareth Gold, which is very unnecessary because I have many good Lancers. But that's what we do. We're out here to grailing. I should pencil in a Bargus to 100. She's such a fucking stonks unit. But that's a question for later about how many grails I have. I'll figure it out. I'm gonna go back to farming this 90+ note.
Yeah. So let's move it on it. This next one comes from a hunter hunting for a Leviathan. They said, "Heyo, Taos Muster Omega and Oni." I forgot how to pronounce this. Youngshi?
Yeah,
Youngshi. Lucky. I hope the summer banners have been treating you both good. Could have been better, but could have been worse, as you now know. Oh, they have something after ellipses here, or in some cases, better. Anyway, in these trying times before FGO's JP anniversary causes us to explode, I must ask, if you guys have any plans to tackle the Final Fantasy 16 DLC now that it has been out for a while, I figure because some of the neat stuff occurs in it, and I would love to hear your thoughts on it if you ever get to it. I understand there's a lot of gaming going on this year. It's true.
Yeah,
P.S.
P.S.
Yeah. P.S. I think we all knew that Hina had it bad, but having to play Hina's typical weak simulator really pushes the point hard on the bullcrap she has to deal with. So give head packs and hugs to everyone's, but Makoto's, favorite head prefect, please and thanks. I'll explain that a second bit here in a bit. But what were we going to say, Omega?
Yes, speaking of a lot of gaming this year, I'm very interested in both DLCs for 16 because they seem really cool. I'll get the season pass and stuff, but I have not yet gone back to FF16, so it's still in my backlog. I have so many things to polish up, and we keep adding new things to try.
Yeah, no. Honestly, I really shouldn't be that enamored with Remnant 2, but I really did like Remnant 1, and I'm here. I'm in it.
I mean, it's the system when it sorry, burp, that interrupted me for a second. I was gonna say the system works, but that might be incorrect context. The system of gradually rolling out special releases of free games with your PS Plus subscription works. Adding them to your higher level back catalog. The day and date release is clearly not been working out money wise for Microsoft and studios under Microsoft. So much so that they're having to fuck around with the price of Game Pass and stuff like that, and they're probably going to be doing less day and date stuff. But PlayStation randomly picking 10 games to add free to the catalog at premium or higher, or whatever the extra one is. I think it's extra and then premium. But picking those every month is just oh hey, that's free. Like, it does not help the backlog, but it's way easier to justify I don't have to pay anything extra for this right now, you know? Just picking up all kinds of games. But yes, it's on my radar. I just haven't set aside the time yet. Eventually, I'll be level fucking 100 and everything in Final Fantasy 14, and then, then I won't be able to go, oh, well, I could just log in at 14 and go back to leveling buttons until they release another expansion pack. But yes, the PS, which I think I get, but I'm not sure.
No, this is a reference to Blue Archive, the one of the gacha games published by Yostar. Or is it? I believe it's Yostar. But in that game, they're all factions are basically school-based, and one of the schools is Gehenna Academy, and they have something called the Prefect Team, which is basically their policing force. The leader of said force is named Hina, who is a tiny girl who carries around a huge gun, and is usually very taciturn and stoic. But she's a girl who tries her best, especially when it seems that the world is just trying to give her one headache after another, especially people from her own school. And so she tries very hard. And this week we got, I think this was the anniversary event. I'm not entirely sure. I don't remember. I don't know if it was anniversary or something close to it. But we have a special event, Blue Archive, where we're having a new type of unit displayed. Like girls in fancy dresses. And Hina, and they did a special event that actually lets you play as Hina as she goes about her work week doing stuff. It's very, very nice, very cool to see students and their kind of on their thing, because most of the time you are playing this game from the perspective of the sensei, and usually don't get quite as much from the student side. So having a whole section just for Hina was very enlightening, and I enjoyed it very much. I hope they do much more for that. Like I said, that's one of the reasons why I've been doing so much. I haven't been I wasn't on 14 the other day because I was all about
your Blue Archive.
Yeah, yep.
I do know that it's Blue Archive's turn to blow up on Twitter a little bit because they've added a giant muscle woman.
Oh, that's not the only thing. Yes, no, this is another one of the 7 prisoners, but yes, she is giant. I want to say muscle mommy, but she's not actually a muscle mommy because she's still a high school student. But still.
She's buff enough that I think you'd call her mommy anyway, even if she's, only like a JK. Like, fucking, I have seen the gif. She pushes a tank. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, but she's great. But no, it's actually a very strong time in JP over in Blue. Is it Nexon? I thought it was Yostar. No, I don't know. But, like I said, they've dropped a new Hoshino, so Robin has been vibrating. They dropped a new Shiriko, so a lot of people are vibrating on that. And like I said, they just shown off, big muscle mommy, and a particular group of people are vibrating over that, so.
Yes, unfortunately, some of those I follow on Twitter. Also, yes, to answer the question, it is published by Yostar in some areas. It is developed by Nexon.
Oh, is it? Okay, so it's both.
It's both, yeah.
Okay, because I was pretty sure it was published by Yostar. But,
yeah.
Okay. But yes, that is.
I feel like I should. I mean, I won't right now because I'm bad with my time of other games anyway. But there are times when I think about going back to giving Blue Archive another crack. Played it for a couple of weeks. It didn't super grab me right off the top. Not like I bounced off it or anything, but I also wasn't super hooked in right away.
Yeah.
But it's definitely I didn't really have any complaints. It's just I kind of fell off after a couple of weeks, and I'm like, I could go back, but also I'm like, don't do that. You will not go back right now.
Yeah, no, it's one of those things. It's good. It has some good story beats, but also Blue Archive has this problem that they like to throw nouns at you, and you're not entirely sure what these nouns are. So you're just kind of okay.
Yeah, I remember from working through I think the first couple sections of the story, was yeah, this is certainly, a thing that's going on. I, as the consumer don't care because I am a big fan of the cute girls with guns genre, but also, what's happening here? We're in an infinite empty town with schools and schoolgirls, and they all have halos? Why? Don't ask questions. I'm like, okay, click button. But, like I said, lots of very well represented in fan art, and like I said, it's not like I hated the gameplay or anything.
But let's move on to the next one. This next one comes from The Apprentice of Ahriman. Isn't the H and the R supposed to be reversed?
It's a 40K reference, so I don't actually know. I would totally believe that Games Workshop spelled it differently so they could copyright it.
Oh, okay. Okay, it says in the next line, okay. Hey guys, I've been doing a lot of hobbying recently for Warhammer 40K, building and painting minis mostly, and had a thought about if the Primarchs of the Space Marines Legions were summoned as servants. Like Lenham Russ, more likely being a Berserker, Magnus the Red, obviously a caster, and Lion Johnson being a Samer. I don't know how knowledgeable you guys about the 40K, but I thought I'd ask you if you guys have any thoughts on the topic. Anyway, I've got to get back to my painting, so you guys have a good weekend. Remember to always keep a vacuum handy when dealing with Thousand Suns. Unfortunately, I don't recognize any of these names. Warhammer is cool. I think it's neat, but also, that is a money sink.
Yeah.
Also, I have to deal with nerds.
Also,
now, I say this as a nerd. I say this as a nerd myself, but
I mean, as someone who knows a little bit, somewhat more about 40K than you do, not still true though.
It's like, I enjoy listening to people talk about 40K. I do think it's neat when people because I like it when people explain lore to me. I do not like it when people explain things to me and expect me to already know things. I actually got into this a little bit on our Discord earlier. Someone who is quite an intelligent and cultured person, I would say. But they have a very bad habit of trying to show off that intelligence almost randomly. And I usually have no context for it, so I'm just looking at it like, okay, you said something smart, but I have no idea what this means. And I have this feeling with a lot, especially with 40K, because I know there's a lot of lore, and there's a lot of content, and there's a lot of stuff out there, and I'm just like, people just start talking at me, I'm like, Okay, I need you to go back to the beginning, and then go even further back and explain how we got to the beginning in the first place. And then many times, if I'm not talking to someone, if I'm talking to people at ye local gaming store, they always give me that look of how can you not know this? I'm just like, maybe because I don't live in a fucking basement.
I mean, the real answer is because Lucky was not swindled out of a $60 hardcover rulebook for his army, which he has to buy separately and paint. Listen, I've wanted to get into miniature games before, but I've also completely understood that I don't have the time and money for that shit. It's cool, but also damn, that's effort.
So yeah, no, that was a complete tangent. But again, I think people I've been seeing this going around in our Discord, and people have been coming up with ideas for servant profiles and stuff. It's neat. That's not really my jam. So I think if you think it's cool, go for it. Roll it. Write a fan fiction. But I'm sorry, can you think of a Warhammer 40K fucking FGO fanfiction collab?
I'm sure it already exists.
It probably does, but I'm just thinking about it and it makes me laugh.
You probably would not be shocked, but some people out there listening may be shocked about just how the crossover goes with these things. 'Cause, there's a lot of classic. Oh, am I roboting on there? It's fine on my end, but my Discord is red right now. Hold on. Okay, I went back green. How do I sound now?
You sound better.
For a second. It's fluctuating a little, but don't worry. The recorded version, I think it'll pick up fine because it's not my audio is not being transmitted through Discord to reach my soundbar. So to go back where I was, like I said, Lucky may not actually be shocked. Some people out there may be shocked though, because I think there was a time when one being a weeb in general, but also specifically Fate Stay Night because of it being a VN. This is a discussion point a lot of people have been having about how we're kind of in a VN renaissance because, well, they're good. But, a lot of people were like, reading in my video game? How very dare. I need to do quarter circle Hadoukens. But I think that means that, when you get to those kind of, obscure levels of, painting minis in your basement and also playing visual novels, you get a little crossover there. And there are some people who are, real hard for anime and visual novels and also for 40K. 40K is also, I've talked about this before. There's at least one What's Up episode where I, tried to explain every 40K faction to Lucky.
That's when I came up with the Sisters of Balan and Tyranids, and I called them the Booty Blasters. They're my dudes.
Yes, your dudes, the classic. But 40K is a faction setting that is designed fundamentally to push a tabletop war game and explain how any given faction can fight any faction, at any given time. I mean, I don't know. I might have to get more. But I know they added for sure one more faction because they brought back the Space Dwarves, Leagues of Wotan, which was very funny because there used to be a Space Dwarf faction, the Squats. Then they went away. They discontinued the line. They wrote them all out of the lore, and everybody was like, "Hey, what happened to those guys?" Because they were very totally radical. They had hover skateboards and mohawks, and were also Space Dwarves. But now they're back and they're different somehow. But they're still Space Dwarves.
Space Dwarves.
But like the whole setting is written just so that they can do maximum scattershot appeal to hook the most people. Like if you're one of those like quirky, also random type guys, orcs are for you. We're deadly but cunning. Gork and Mork, Stompers, all that good stuff.
Wog.
If you're one of those, like, normal humanity fuck yeah guys, Imperial Guard are for you. They're just regular dudes with t-shirts and flashlights, baby. Also, I love the IG because they have, a very impressive level of vehicle selection, which is always very funny, but also way too expensive to actually build an army of IG tanks. I talked before about when I did this episode with Lucky, but the Tau were almost all assuredly designed to appeal to a Asian market and also probably weebs because they're like kind of space communism, and also they do have giant robots, like they have drones and like fucking 40K Gundams. And I just don't think that Western gunpla heads Tau are very popular with, but it's funnily enough, my understanding, I don't know how true it is anymore, especially because the way the Japanese population is, but my understanding is that Japanese players in general resonate with Imperial Guard, because the joke is, deep down in their soul, the Japanese want to be able to die proudly for an immortal emperor. The railguns are also very cool. If you're like, you want like your superhumans with all kinds of weird culture flavors, there are, Space Marines and stuff like that. There's all kinds of stuff. If you like nuns with guns and fire, Sisters of Battle, so it's one of those things where like, I think the crossover for Fate works, and I'm sure somebody has done it. I'm fairly certain I've seen a drawing somebody did at least as a joke of like Artorian Space Marine powered armor before, but I don't know what it's like. I think this person's done an okay job of just like randomly picking class containers. It'd be very funny, but you got it. Oh, I should, just because I think that you will find it very funny, Lucky. The thing you said about having a vacuum handy for 1,000 Suns, that's a Chaos Space Marine Legion. They did some black magic to themselves, and now they're all like mummies. So they're like all dusty inside their armor. They're like disembodied. So jokes about vacuums.
Okay.
Because they're all. I think they're also mostly ancient Egyptian themed. 1,000 Suns.
If I remember correctly, yes, I do remember there being like an Egyptian.
There's a lot of cool aesthetics. That's something I will say for 40K. I just think that there are times when Games Workshop takes their position as a market leader a little too out there. Yeah, they're just, their bodies have all and their shield inside their armor. Which is all, I mean, like, again, that's like, you think about that in a vacuum and like, man, that's pretty baller. These guys did so much black magic. They're like mummy dust inside their own fucking power armor, man. That's cool. That's rad. And that, kids, is how you end up spending too much money on resin crack. On plastic and resin crack. It's because you see an image or you hear somebody describe something on the internet, you go to yourself, hey, that's rad, and then they've got you. Watch out. I mean, I think that I'm also pretty sure there's already a lot of baked-in Magic the Gathering, because that's another thing. Hey, guess what? If you've read the Yu-Gi-Oh! Manga, you understand people in Japan know what Magic the Gathering is. I think it's not like one of their top card games over there, but they know what's up. Magic is also inherently Wizards did a very smart thing when designing Magic. That's inherently a crazy crossover setting, so hypothetically anything is possible. They're also doing, like, pop culture crossovers, so, like, I don't think we will, but we could see a special set where, like, you could get, like, a super rare, Magic card that is just Saber. I don't know what color Saber would be in Magic. Probably white?
Sorry, what was that, Omega?
I was debating what color Saber would be in Magic. Probably something with white. Red, white, blue axis could be good. I mean, if we're talking Commander.
Yeah, Saber would be white, I think.
There's no gold color for Gilgamesh, so he can't show up to the crossover.
Well, no, clearly he's like an artifact commander or something.
See, my brain thought, maybe something with artifacts? You went there. Good. We're all in the same place. We're sharing the brain cell. All right.
The brain cell.
You got a few more of these.
We do. And let's get through them. The next one comes from On Fire because the AC broke. Oh no.
Oh, trust me, I got stories about that, but we'll talk later.
But they say, howdy, Lucky and Mega. Hope your rolling went well. It went okay. My question to you, gentlemen, is of the summers we have had in FGO so far, which is your favorite? Oh man, I still think it's Summerfest.
Yeah, the Servafez is like really good.
Like that's Summer 3, right?
Yes, that is the third summer.
Yeah, no. And like honestly, I think FGO thinks it's like one of the best ones too, because they keep bringing it back in some form or fashion and hinting at it.
I mean, I'm pretty sure they've done polls, so I think they would know. And I think that Servafez usually scores pretty consistently at the top. But yeah, no, that's definitely I think my pick. It's a really good one.
Yeah, but yeah, I think we should just move on from that, and we move on to the next one, which comes from the Tyrant King. Now, doing the Always Sunny comparison meme for the Anniversary Servant. Question. Hey guys, with 9th anniversary a week away and hints have been dropped, I have a 2-part question. My first is, do you miss the leaks on the servants or do you prefer the silence until anniversary drops? My second question is, any thoughts on the Anniversary Servant? Anyway, that's it for me. Sending good vibes your way. Wah, 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 wah. And hope you have a great evening. P.S. Calling it now. Beast class Amaterasu dodgy. I mean, that would be fucking rad. But also, no, I do not care about leaks in the slightest. There is something nice about being surprised. Figuring out, like what is knowing, like 2 weeks ahead of time gonna get you? Nothing. And it has ruined the effort, the leaks have ruined the effort of the people who are trying to keep it a secret. No, leaks are stupid. I will always maintain this.
And I think FG has been getting better about patching leaks too. Like, I remember back in my day, like 2 weeks before every story drop or event, you would see a leak list. Usually, like, half of them were right, maybe, or like kind of right from a certain point of view. But also lots of them were just fucking fake. People just guessing. There were a few leaks that were very accurate, but they're getting fewer and farther between. I think I saw a leak of the anniversary for JP like 2 years ago, like literally, or at least I saw it anyway, like, and I think it was only like a few days before, like literally the night before the banner went live, and it was correct, but also that's like such a short time frame, right? I don't remember hearing any fucking thing about last year's anniversary in JP or the summers other than when they showed them. So yeah, like I think Los Angeles got a lot better at tamping that down. And personally, like, you know, when people would like post links to like, hey, here's some dumb quote unquote leaks I saw on Reddit, I'd usually click the spoilers just because I'm like, all right, I want to see what this guy's got. Because some of them are like so completely wrong that it's funny. But in general, yeah, if there were no leaks at all, I would not miss, you know, having a chuckle, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I personally prefer silence. I know that there are some fandoms that are like fucking built on like leakage from like public tests and shit, but I don't know. I think we already have clairvoyance because we're looking 2 years into the fucking future. I think it's great when you can get that kind of like, oh, I absolutely don't know what it is hype.
No, I think that's one of the reasons why I like, even though I only play, you know, NA. I only play English. But I think it's still the reason why I like to tune into JP stuff, because I like seeing what comes out. I like seeing what's new and fresh, and I enjoy that surprise, and I want to be there with other people as they also learn it, so we can all, you know, scream and freak out together.
And it's one of those things that, like, even though, you know, a little bit of like language barrier, you know, not very educated Japanese, I know enough to follow along, like, when people are excited, and like the crews they bring to FGO stages for like panels and stuff and Fez always also bring the hype, right?
Oh yeah.
So it's just a thing that, you know, we can all universally share in that moment. And hey, guess what, buddy? If you're sitting in the crowd or watching the stream and you see a servant reveal and you went, oh, that guy leaked 3 weeks ago, you're an asshole. Get out. Don't be that guy. That's not normal human behavior. Don't be a jerk. Even if you know ahead of time, just shut up. Let people be happy. They want to be excited.
Yeah, but people like being right.
I know. Humans really like being right. I wonder if ever that desire will go down a little because people like just make up that they're right now. We're in the phase where people are just being like, I was right anyway. Sorry. There's a little Axe Got Me counter. I think we're at 2 today. Smart thing, cosplay is the least servant show commitment. Probably don't do that. You might get in trouble if somebody sees you in the crowd. But certainly, hey, if you want to be committed, go for it. Sorry, Robin posted an ungodly sticker in the FF14 chat. I was just like, where the fuck does he get these?
Listen, Robin just has access to all the secret Gremlin channels and just thrives.
Well, I mean, if they showed up as Archetype Earth at our anniversary panel in English, that's, not leaked. We knew that already at the Future Site. People were very excited. And shout out to Albert and a lot of the other English staffers for, keeping a straight face when we know already.
Well, we do say that, but I do think that Lysango has been doing some effort into, actually achieving that global brand recognition, like a lot of our scheduled events are, slowly syncing up. Like last year's anniversary, we actually had, I cannot remember his name to save my life. I am very sorry, my man, but Cadix VA, it's on the tip of my tongue.
Oh, I can't recall it off the. I'm terrible with names. Can't recall it off the top of my head either. But
yeah,
he was around.
He was around. We're getting more voice actors and staff appearances over here, like showing up more at cons and stuff. And I think it's taking notice. It was actually reported today. I don't remember who said it or where, but Sony's CEO took a tour of Lysango and was said to be actually discussing the future of FGO and other related products. I'm just like, apparently that means probably FGO is probably doing good enough numbers that.
Oh, I mean, what was somebody remember the price tag when Sony through Aniplex bought FGO off of Delightworks? I think it was a pretty big investment, but yeah, they're still committed. And I mean, no surprise. Another thing that's been percolating, I think, over the past couple of days, is that I think overall review score, Tsukihime has overtaken FF7 Rebirth. It's number one reviewed game this year, which is, if you think about it, kind of crazy. This isn't even the full remake. This is only half of the remake of Tsukihime. But it's finally been released in English in some other places, and, people are really had to get in there. And I'm still very, very interested to see when they're going to pop the timing on Fate Stay Night Remastered as well. We're really gassing up. I mean, obviously, there's already pre-existing brand recognition. I think Fate is getting, bigger and bigger. I would be very interested to see, I have some discussion points for this further down the line. I'd be very interested to see how many people catch on in the VTuber boom, catch on that there are actually some of the very big FGO artists have done some very big now VTuber designs as well, and some of them are real out there. Trust me, I know, because I follow both of them on Twitter.com. Wad Arco is ready to grow to bat for Oro Crony at any given time. Wad Arco loves that clock woman who she drew with huge bazongas. It's Wad Arco. What did you expect? So there's definitely, I think, a little bit of cross hatching there, and I am curious to see if people are getting into that crossover.
I think it also I think it's a weird thing, but since most often the VTubers refer to their character model artists as their parents in some form. Usually, I think, that does something, to grow the bond.
Yeah. And, like I said, there's a lot of big ones, Paco in there, Horikoshi in there. Obviously, myself, I constantly think about this when I see Sei Shonagon on screen. Sei's artist did Paco's Bales from Hololive English, the Chaos Rat, and I'm just yes, this is very much Chaos Rat energy. Thank you, Nagiko. So yeah, it's definitely one of those things where, I'm surprised, but also I think there's a lot of reasons why something like Tsukihime could hit such a huge boom, and I'm very curious to, like I said, to see how Fate Stay Night Remastered does when we actually pull that trigger. Mm-hmm. But yeah, there's a lot of growing. And like we said, I to wrap it back a little, despite this huge explosion, I think it's much cleaner when we don't get that leakage. But like I said, I think it's very different than when we use, what we've called clairvoyance to know ahead of time. And Lucky is correct. I think that, and I think some of that is on Albert's end, and the rest of Aniplex US, on that end. But I feel since the Lysango switch, we have been doing a lot as a brand to understand that people not in Japan can use the internet to see what's going on with FGO Japan, and, like, actually capitalizing on that crossover a lot more. And, I mean, I know that wasn't the entirely reason why they did it, but I think, one of the reasons why I brought up Tsukihime remake earlier is also, I'm pretty sure they timed out the release anyway in English so that they could explain who the fuck Archetype Earth is for the FGO anniversary. But also, that's crazy to think that, like, they may have started the ball rolling on that process just to explain who the fuck a guest character is, and now we have, like, the top-rated game of this year on, like, Metacritic and OpenCritic and shit. It's crazy, like, to think about how much oomph this brand has and how much these writers have, and all that's fucking Nasu, big spicy,
Big spice.
It's a shame that Nasu is, I guess we would say, like, camera shy. He doesn't mind giving interviews, but he doesn't like to, like, show up in pictures and video, because I think it would be cracked if Nasu would actually show up to, like, an EN panel. It doesn't even necessarily have to be FGO, but that'd be really cool, I think, if he actually made his way over. Has anybody suggested to Type Moon that we just get his little mushroom avatar as, like, a live 2D, so he doesn't have to actually be there in person?
No, he just needs to pull a Yokotaro and get the mushroom head.
That would also be very acceptable. I would love to see him just wearing the fucking yellow-ass mushroom head.
Cause that's actually not as uncommon. What is it? Is his name Paro Itagaki? I believe that's her. The mangaka behind Beastars. I believe it's Paro Itagaki. But yeah, no. Anytime she's in a public photo, she has a giant chicken head on.
Yeah,
even to one of her to her public wedding photos, even has the chicken head.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there are several mangakas who are very private. I know that's actually, like, surprisingly common in music scenes, like, obviously Daft Punk, but Deadmau5 is also that way of just, like, yeah, they just don't show up in public without, like, a giant helmet on.
That was actually how it was with one of my favorite pop groups in Japan, Claris. They were underage performers, so they constantly wore masks and stuff until they were an age and before finally going on mask. So no, I think it's fine. It's great.
And again, mentioning the VTuber hole, I have actually seen a few, people who definitely have VTuber rig models, but also they show up in person in flesh form, and they will cover their, like, just lower half of their face with, like, a normal face mask. These days, that's enough tech. So yeah, I think at the very least, the general audience you'd find at, like, AX would totally be okay if Nasu showed up in a mask.
Oh, yeah. But, yeah. But let us move on to our last one. This last one comes from the Aoyuki experience. Dear Rabbit and Robot, I got her. It took such a consent for one copy, but I got her. That is all. Have a great time. Well, congratulations! You got her. I love it. I'm in 14 right now, and I'm looking, and I just see someone around in some golden armor and the chicken head. I was like, is that Paro Itagaki? Oh no, their name is Karage Lightwrath!
Ooh, tickle me deep in my lungs.
Their title is embraced by dogs. Karage Lightwrath.
People have some great fun. I think I was just walking through Kugane the other day, and I saw somebody in, like, the casual hoodie and just wearing a pink-dyed frog head, and I paused to, like, look at their ensemble. I had to skedaddle, though, because, like, I did the classic trick where I wasn't, like, examining them yet. I just kind of, like, stuck myself there to like, scope them out, and they started to, like, turn their head to look at me, and I had to be like, whoop, gotta go.
It's like, oh no, they caught me looking!
Yeah, shit, they caught me looking. I mean, listen, if you go to Final Fantasy 14 and you're wearing you dyed a frog suit head and are not also wearing the frog suit bottoms, you know what you're doing. You did this to be looked at and to have a funny profile pic. But yes, that is your mailbag. Thank you, as always, everybody. Love to see it. Love to hear from you. Okay. Hour 30. We're doing good. We're having some fun talks. Sorry. I leaned away from my microphone. I said, hold on, I'm spending an apple. Once we've done that, we'll move on to our next bit. The Caldeus Fritacius. So now we have two. So you didn't get that 5 stars to talk about. Though obviously, we can report some level of 5-star getage, but, some of us have very high NP levels of some 4-star units now. So it's good to discuss what they be doing. We'll talk about it in release order here. First, Anni on her vacation. She's dressed very sensibly for a young lady. Good for her.
Yay.
Sailor Suit especially is very funny to me. Especially, I think she has her dialogue for that is very amusing. But she's rocking out as Avenger. In general, Avengers, aim very much on high attack, low on HP. She is quick arts buster with fairly average hit counts and NP gain. I think she's like 332 off her hits and like 0.53 NP gain, I want to say. Her Noble Phantasm is single target arts. It does bonus damage to the enemy if they are cursed. And it has a pretty high instant kill chance. Obviously, it's not literally the instant kill percentage because it's like magnified by the enemy's, instant death resist and all that stuff. But her default chance on her NP is 80%, which is pretty high. Like there's a lot of servants who are like in the 40 or 50% range. So 80 is pretty good. Its overcharge effect is to buff her arts performance first for a turn. So pretty normal stuff. Her first skill is also fairly typical. It's a 20-30% arts up for 3 turns, so normal damage steroid. But it is also a 2 hits 3 turns evade. We love those. Unpowers. See, Truncate Silence will squish all that together, but yeah, I Lucky popped away for a second. I lost track of my place in my notes, and I was deciding, let me just refill my water while I'm at it. My water is full. We're good. Let's talk about Summer Ares' first skill. Let's talk about her second one. Because this one does have a lot going on, which is probably why I lost my place. So, first of all, gives all enemies 1k curse damage for 3 turns. It is also which is how she gets her bonus damage on MP, by the way. It's also a 1-turn taunt, and all enemies focus on her for 1 turn. And then it gives her a when defending debuff, so that when an attacking enemy hits her, they take 10% defense down. Both of those are for 3 turns, so the on hit when she is struck buff is 3 turns, and then the defense down gives is 3 turns. And it's stackable, obviously. But it's also a 20-30% battery. So it's a very stacked skill, but it's important. Third skill gives her a significant instant kill success buff for 3. I think it's like 60 to like 120% chance up. I don't, again, know what that does with the instant kill math, because that's a very complex thing where you have to like multiply the multiple percentages together, but it's a lot. But it also gives her 25 to 35% crit damage up for 3, and the same amount, 25 to 35% bonus damage versus servants. So her, servant killer powers come back. Her passives are the full Avenger set, so she's got Avenger, for extra NP gain on hit, Oblivion Correction for extra critical, but lower your team's debuff, and Magic Replenishment. I think her Magic Replenishment is labeled EX, so she gets like 4% per turn. Just free NP gen. Pretty good. She also has Riding C+, so her quicks do actually hit there. And I believe she does say on summon, she's like, huh? Are you sure I'm not a rider? Because she has the boat. She has Independent Action B for even more free crit damage, and still her itty-bitty Widow Divinity E. So yeah, fun to sort out some single target stuff. And she's got that servant damage buff, which so that gives you a very solid arts kit that will be very easy to set up. But playing around with instant kill stuff is a little odd. I do believe it is like most of the good instant kill. It is set so that the instant kill is triggered last. I don't think her NP changes. This is a fairly common. Some people complain, so it is a complaint technically. It is a fairly common note. Around this year, it got really common to have a lot of servants switch to their third ascension, like anyway in NP. But I believe that, like most other characters, Ares only has her one version. I don't think it actually switches up. It's just both. But yeah, pretty good kit. She's single target, so you can actually get in there. You've probably got a lot of NP copies if you were going ham rolling for a Buki. And as an Avenger, she's going to bring a lot to the party with big damage, extra bonus damages, good steroids. She does actually have the 3-turn evade, like we mentioned earlier. That's always a fun one. Very, very competent kit. Once again, it's very funny to me that we talked last week about Summer Gareth, who, as a character design, I love. I especially like what they do, like playing around with their different ascensions. And the dog is great. Based dog.
Based.
But, like, her kit is, like, super straightforward. And then you've got Anni, who's got, like, her second skill does, like, 5 things. So it's I'm wondering if maybe some of these characters were designed at different times. But that means we get to move on to our next, so you didn't get that 5-star. And so we're rocking out with the not-so-little Woo, who decided she would be much more grand and cool if she, became a young woman instead of a young girl for her bikini. And also she does have, like, a Taoist Sage outfit as her second ascension. The FGO Game Press's, like, servant stats chart is still fucked. I do not know what broke on their back end of there, but it has been fucked up for, like, 3 weeks now. So I can't do super good comparisons, but I can tell you if you're trying to figure out her stat levels, that her HP value is bigger than her attack stat, which is not something I could say about Summer Ares. Yes, Ares is one of those servants who has more attack than she does have HP points. But yes, Wu is weighted the other way. She is quick arts buster, which is semi-unique kit on casters. I still don't think there's a lot of casters that have that spread. Her arts hits are 3, but she got 5 hits on her quick, and she has above average NP gain. It's 0.63. So like with 3 hits on arts, that's pretty good. That quick is going to be real good. Her buster is only 2 hits, but she's a caster. You're not getting NP on those. Speaking of which, though, her NP is AoE buster. Again, pretty rare for casters to actually get that level. It has a unique effect where first it makes all enemies undead for 3 turns, gives them the undead trait. It also does bonus damage to the human attribute. It's flat, so it's not increased with NP level or overcharge still, but it's like 150% extra damage. And also after hitting, it lowers their defense by 20% for 3 turns. The overcharge effect is it just increases her NP damage first by a percentage, starting about 10-ish. I don't know why I say 10-ish. It starts at 10. Just for the turn. Our first skill is going to be a fun little charisma variant. It's going to be 10 to 15% attack and buster for the squad for 3 turns, but also 10 to 20% NP gain for everybody. Her second skill is pretty interesting. First of all, it explains one of the reasons why her NP does that apply undead effect, because it gives all enemies 1 charge down. It's a pretty solid stall effect. It increases the party's damage versus undead enemies by 20 to 30% for 3 turns, but it's also a... double check that it's on self, but it's a 10 to 20% battery. Ooh, I need to drink more of my water. Yeah, it is 20% for the squad. I didn't want to say out of turn. So yeah, pretty interesting team-wide effect. 20% battery for team, not bad. Her third skill is the other reason why you've got that funny undead effect, because it stuns all enemies who are undead, though obviously it doesn't have any extra percentage points. But it's also a team-wide 1k to 3k heal and removes all debuffs. It is on a 7-turn cooldown, but that's a pretty solid skill. Her passives are Territory Creation A and Item Construction A, so her debuff success rate is up and her arts performance is up by another 10%, so she's gonna get some real good NP out there. And then lastly, she has a special, unique passive, which makes her immune to mental debuffs. So she can't be, terrified, charmed, sleeped, stuff like that. All in all, a fun little kit. She does have an offensive MP, so you can try and use her to clear waves of ads. I do believe a decent number of ghost-type enemies are assassins, so you got a good class matchup there. There are, I believe, a couple of other units which proc undead damage. The one that comes to mind most immediately is normal Erise, has some undead up damage. But all in all, it's a pretty neat kit, and I appreciate that, the gameplay, admittedly you have to NP first, but I do like the game, built in a way of, okay, so we're gonna give you, damage up and a conditional stun on the enemy trait, which is very common. Fucking skeletons are everywhere, man. Who hasn't fought a huge ghost, But just in case, you do have a way to apply the trait yourself, so you can set it up for her or for other people. So it should be pretty fun. And like I said, these are for a 4-star, these are some very staunch support skills, A 3k heal and remove all debuffs is pretty good. You got charge down all enemies and 20% NP gain, straight up battery gain for the whole squad. Got some good choices there. And I think her art is very fun. She's got some cool variants. It's interesting to me that in the story we use her 3rd Ascension a lot because it's got the big fluffy coat, but it was the right decision. Speaking of the story, it is also probably a good time to talk about our thoughts about the Arctic Summer World story.
Yeah.
I believe you wrapped up the story earlier today.
Yep, I just finished up not too long ago.
Mm-hmm. Which Valkyrie did you pick?
Ortolinde Iris.
That seems to be a pretty popular one. Hold on. It was bequested of me to make a poll in our Discord, and is running. You have 20 hours left if you haven't voted. It is pinned, so you can find it. But Team Ortolinde Gerskogu is currently winning with about 50% of the votes. Thrud Rinder is second, and Hildur Olrun is last. Has more than one vote now, though. Ortolinde is very popular. I'm a little bit more on the Thrud side myself, but I think Irsted was pretty interesting to see in the event. And also, I joked about having to pick her because Dragoon, and then I posted the Gerskogu action icon. Hopefully we can get a Evocation Festival so that everybody can just, pick up the whole set sometime. Because we're out of reruns, so it's complicated, but they're all technically separate. I think they're all fun. But yeah, so the story. When we last left off, we were pretty early, but we kind of got a little bit of a vibe. We'd seen some occasions. Skadi challenging us to her eternal summer. But we got some further detail on that, which was pretty fun. There was the third attraction, the Genji Hot Spring, which was yes, very, very fun time, very interesting. Getting Raiko to manage a place and like the wombo combo of Nagiko and Murasaki like talking her down from freaking out about bathing suits because it's like, well, naturally you gotta wear less clothes to the hot spring, right?
Also, just freaking out, not making it a giant fucking training tower.
Yes, it sounded like she was trying to do like Setsubun 2.0, for a little bit.
Yeah,
which greatly disappointed many of the servants with us, but as an attraction, which included, small Arctic animals as well as servants, much better choice. But yeah, that was some really good time spent there, like going back and forth with those guys hanging out, finding out that, like we said, Nagiko and Murasaki helped Raiko set it up.
I do think it was interesting. I think we get more about how, like, things seem fine on the surface, but things are weird underneath. Because this is our first time showing off with Summer Buki first showed up here.
Yes.
And turned the hot spring source into lava. That was a great idea, Buki. Which made the whole temperature go up, which, unsealed the ice seal of a giant boar that Raiko was going to use in her attraction, that they just stuck under the earth. Just stuck it under...
Guys, get yourself a manager like Summer Scotty, who just, like, Raiko calls her up and is like, "Hey, I've decided to change the nature of my attraction. We're gonna go with a pool. I got a problem. I've got a giant demon boar because I designed the final boss first. What do I do?" And Scotty is like, yes. I'm gonna put him in ice, and then we're gonna literally use him as the foundation for your new attraction because we can't get rid of him. Which makes both ends of that make sense later. But yes, it's very funny to hear all those things. And of course, yes, Ibuki gets, smashed and decides the hot springs are not hot enough, so she uses just a little tiny bit of her divine spirit powers to make it hot lava. Yes, they do. That's the next trick. But yeah, that was really fun. We have our boar fight. I actually really like this section because for reasons that become obvious to anybody who's played the event and when we discuss it later, Domon starts fucking off a little bit more later. So this is the last time you get a lot of Domon actually with us, and it's real great. He keeps trying to hide, but, like, Seis Shonagon just has, like, magical Domon senses. Randomly just punches him in the face, hits him with a tangerine. And
Seis Shonagon has really weird senses. She just knows things.
It's those berserker instincts, man. And then, of course, later when they're worrying about, like, the hot springs heating up in the source, the boar pops out and just fucking eats him. Because one of his
I love the sound effects they used.
Yes, and and it eats him because one of his divine spirits is taking a break. The demonic minister on the left is just like relaxing, and he's just like, hello. And he still manages to get himself out by exploding the bear.
Yes, I think it's all like because they did the little ping pong. Lord Mitsuhide is relaxing in one of the pools. And I was like, what?
No, It's a really good one. Like all of the attraction like mini stories are pretty good, but this is like I think like a really really good one because like I said, after this Domon kind of like fucks off a little. So we find about the earthquakes and we do settle it out and eventually we dial down the level. There is some very funny Asclepius stuff here as well because the hot springs have all of the purported benefits of bathing in hot mineral springs. Mm-hmm. Some of which are true, some of which are not.
I love how it just started listing buffs.
Yes. They go further down the list and they're just like, what? They can ignore Invincible? What? No way this can be true. So yeah, that was a pretty good time. And next up is the front of the ice castle.
Yep.
We meet up with our Valkyries again, have a little conversation. It is somewhere in here. I don't remember exactly when we get it all cleared out because Scotty won't talk to us about it for a while. But I believe it's somewhere in here that the Good.
Well, no, please finish her.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's somewhere in like, either the gap between after, eventually becomes Genji Hawaii, and the Ice Castle, or in the first parts of the Ice Castle chapter. It comes up with the Valkyries that, Scotty's using a lot of magical energy, guys. And we try several times throughout this event to talk to her about it, and it's not until the very last one that we actually, like, get a good conversation. I think we, like, meet her on the steps of the castle and ask her about it, and she's just like, anyway, bye, and runs inside.
Well, is partly also out of embarrassment.
Well, that's also true, yes.
Skadi wearing not as much fabric as she is used to, and she is wondering why she let her other self convince her to do this. So when you kind of press her on it and other things, she's just like,
Gotta go
smoke
back.
bomb!
Yeah.
But
there were
we
several
definitely...
smoke bombs in this event.
But we do start noticing that Skadi is not acting quite herself. She was like trembling and stuff. Yeah. And so we're all like, that's not okay. Is it here that we have the first fight with her?
With her? We might.
Because she had a status effect on when we did fight her. That may say, I was like, excuse me? Are you okay? The question is, no, she is not okay.
I think there was that fight here, yes.
Yeah, but she has the debuff emaciated. I'm just like, that is not a debuff that should be on a servant?
No, it's not very good. But yeah, we'll get it out there because, like I said, there's some overlapping story. It eventually comes out that Skadi is using up a lot of her own magical energy because she used the Grail to make the wish for Arctic Summer World, and it did summon some servants, but it is not necessarily acting as a pure magical reactor.
Well, the way that it was put is that Skadi's told the managers that they could use basically as much magical energy as they wanted, and they might be pulling a little bit too much from the tank, from the Grail, and so Skadi's trying to make up with it with her own reserves.
The Grail is like all Grails, is maintaining the singularity, and obviously Skadi made a wish on it, but I do not think that inherently guarantees that every, like you said, every micromanaged magical energy decision can come straight from the Grail, especially when it comes out later that it wasn't Skadi's Grail to begin with,
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it is fair to understand that I don't necessarily know how much regular Skadi is. Summer Skadi is definitely a workaholic. She's the kind of person who would start a subathon and get like 120 hours racked up in like 5 minutes because y'all are fucking simps, and then she'd be stuck there for like 4 weeks, not sleeping, not eating. She got to do the whole thing on I have to stream until the counter runs out. Sorry, I'm staring at my Discord ping. It's been a little. Sometimes it's a little crappy today. The bar go down. But yeah, so some of that comes out. But yeah, she does skedaddle away from us slightly embarrassed. I think even leaving some of her Valkyries behind because they're all very concerned about her. And then we run into a slight problem because it's like, oh shit, what are we gonna do? There's not actually an attraction planned for the ice castle. It's not like a hotel or anything. It's just like kind of a centerpiece where Skadi was set up. How will we, fix customer satisfaction? And I think it's Eris who pitches the perfect idea. We're going to have a hero show.
I don't think it was a Reese.
I think Eris talked about using it for shows, but I know for a fact, like, Sigurd comes up out of nowhere.
Yeah, Sigurd comes up out of nowhere, because that's when you have the sudden Valkyrie fight.
Yes. The Valkyries are, once again, so mad at Sigurd they can't help but fight him. And of course, our favorite, murder couple, Brynn is also there, and, she's just like, oh, Sigurd, you're so cool, but my sisters are so upset. Here, we'll be alright if I fight with them? And Sigurd's just like, yeah, I can take it, yeah.
If I remember correctly, I think it was Sigurd who says, like, no, go fight with them, and stuff, so, they can get it all out of their system.
Yes, so they can, get it all in there. And then, of course, that the Valkyries, like, lose their nerve at the end after Brynn fucking triggers Sigurd's guts, like, 3 times, keeps stabbing the shit out of him, and they're just like, I can't even be mad at this fucking guy anymore. It's just too weird, man. I don't actually, I do not, like, her name may have been in the middle. I think Brynn is actually supposed to be in Fate the first. That's why she's slightly different.
Yeah, because Brynn was actually an OG, like a prototype even.
Yeah, I think she was the first, supposed to be the first one Odin made, the first Valkyrie, so she's slightly different from the others and kind of senior. They all think of her as her big sister. There's a lot of conversation with the 6 Valkyries we have about, like, how exactly the production order works. There are some comments made about how, we have quote-unquote new Valkyries, but then our classic Valkyries have to specify, but by the way, they're not actually new. Several of them were made at the same time as the rest of us. They're part of the same production batch. So there's some very funny comments, I think, back and forth in there. But yeah, eventually, it may actually be Sigurd says the phrase hero show first, and then Eddie is like, oh, that'll work. Like, Because obviously, some of our servants have no fucking idea what a hero show is. But I don't know who the creative director for this project was, but I do want to say that overall, this performance is great. Because first of all, we just magically debate Double X. we set out some fucking food. Yen King is great at playing bit parts because he still has his like his shape changing ability. But we just debate Double X in, and once again, Double X just saying some fucking unhinged shit. I think she says she's owed a couple years back pay at this point.
Yeah.
Because the space cops won't pay her because she's in a different dimension or something. But we managed to once again convince her to do work in exchange for free food. And it's a great fucking show. We have, Sigurd as the last remnants of the Dark Rounds, and, that stuff. And he talks about my terrifying female demon, Chainsaw Woman. And Bryn just says, Chainsaw. And my Valkyries. Valkyries. Like I said, I don't know who creative directed this, but they've all got great showmanship.
That was pretty good.
And they have all the kids, all the kid servants come along to be like, oh no, villains, what will we do?
I like what they did with the sprite work, where they brought back, Red-Eyed Mask Sigurd, and they gave, did Summer Bryn's slasher face. And I was just like, heh.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun with the sprites. And like I said, and also like all the special effects and shit, and like talking about like, you get all the kids to join in the cheers when she transforms into mecha mode. It's great. And, it actually works to make the Rebellion work. And I love the little cameo from Summer Melt and Tayo there,
Oh, yes, no.
Because Melt's like, we got to check out, like, entertainment for the common people as well.
Yes, but, she was just taking along her child
yes.
to the show.
And he's just like, oh, this really is cool. And she's like, shit, the kids think this is cool? It's so fun. Yeah.
No, it's great.
And so, so we actually get in the castle, and like we said, we have another talk with Skadi. We do actually get a fight. She switched to her second ascension, which is her more, like, almost like loungewear, I would say, right? Like, it's not quite a swimsuit, but it's definitely, like, very relaxed. She's in, like, a nice summer dress, and she's got her glasses on.
Yeah.
And we do actually, like, have our full conversation about, like, how it's, like, she's using all of her extra energy to run all the zones at the same time as well. And, like you mentioned earlier, the exact quote is that she gave all the attraction managers carte blanche to do whatever the fuck they wanted, and some of them are going real ham. I mean, a sweater can be a summer dress if you wear it right. Also, Skadi is, cold, so she's constantly surrounded by floating ice fish. But yeah, this turns out into another great classic, comedic summer moment that I'm going to think about forever.
Ah, yes.
We're just, like, we have all this conversation, and, like, we do actually get a flashback to, like, hey, guess what? Doman gave her the grail.
Surprise! I think that is our exact reaction. It's like, oh no, who could have guessed? This guy.
Yes. And I love that Doman is, like, pre-prepped to fucking smoke bomb his way out of there. It's time for me to leave. But also, we're like, but his heart doesn't seem in it. Instead of, he said, with the ends.
Gareth was very noticed that, and everyone's like, yeah.
By the way, I hadn't heard it at the time, but I did hear it later. Lucky was not kidding about the shopkeeper noises. It's actually quite interesting to hear Doman just go, I can't do it quite right. I sounded too much like Joke Yoda. That's a pretty good one, yeah. But yeah, it's pretty fun. But also after we have our actual fight with Skadi and the flashback and stuff, and we're like, Skadi, it's okay, you're not gonna worry about it. Nightingale fucking kicks down the door.
Where is the patience?
I've heard someone is in medical distress here. And you're just point at Skadi and fucking, it's so funny what they do with just sprite work, but like Nightingale just fucking appearing like the Undertaker behind Skadi, and just, it's great. Skadi's also getting some comical drug injections. And actually, I think there's been a few times where we've made jokes about how, like, when she's thinking about medical stuff, Nightingale doesn't care about how occult you are, but she's just like, yeah. This leads to some very funny beats, because for several chapters in a row after this, like at least one major attraction and some other like follow-up parts, Skadi can't actually leave the castle, so she like goes back to calling us on the phone and like talking over the map. It's pretty good. So now we gotta chase Doman down, and we naturally our boy Dantes was right, which is hey, guess what? The place we actually gotta go is the weird specific giant ice tower with the sun on top of it. Who could have guessed? But the second zone, this may be, I think in my mind, one of the more, definitely it's a competition here for which is more funny, this part, because the next attraction is the haunted house. And it's real good.
Too good.
Yeah, because the haunted house is run by Wu. Empress Wu has developed her Taoist powers, so she's got, in addition to her torturer still in the scene, she's got Jiangxi now. And she is hired as her assistant, Jiangxi Costume Shuten Doji, as her assistant manager. And they have built a haunted house which is too good. It's too fucking scary. And it's all very interesting because, after, our past couple of runs, Ibuki's been tagging along with us. So we get more very interesting, Shuten Ibuki interactions where it's I'm trying to remember, how they talk about it. One of them treats the other as, a haze. I'm trying to remember, is it Shuten that phrases it that way? And then the other one is who's that person? I don't even recognize that guy. Who's yapping over there? But it's really okay. They do both use the haze phrase.
Yeah,
I wasn't sure if they use it at different times, but yeah. Basically, to each of them, the other their other self is not a concrete existence. They just kind of vaguely exist. Sometimes they can't even see them, but they can hear them talking, kinda, or making weird sounds. I think Ibuki more frequently phrases it as just Shuten is making just annoying noise, she can't understand what she's saying. And so we have to diffuse some situations because the two of them really don't get along. I guess who annoys you more than yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we get a couple of really good. Yeah, I'll say yes, Chad. I think that's correct. I think because technically Shuten is the future version, she is more aware of the fact that Ibuki exists. I don't know if she has any dialogue in this. I don't think she does, but in other cases, she's had time where she's figured out that Ibuki is there. Ibuki literally is really bad at realizing Shuten is there because I'm guessing it's because Shuten is technically the future, the further down incarnation. But yeah, the haunted house is too scary. Part of how we show this off is we got to see that apparently Chloe and Ilya tried it out. I guess this is apparently our advertising for Summer Chloe coming in the future.
I believe also Osakaba Hime went through as well.
Yes. Which is great because it's Hime, so she fucking died. And we see all this as snapshots because we roll up and she's just who is it's good to see you, everybody. Look at me. This is my new spirit origin. I've aged up a little. We're having fun. Look at this Jiangxi. Look at all these Jiangxis. Anyway, I don't know what the fuck is wrong, and we're well, we'll figure it out. We'll see. And then we come to the conclusion it's too scary, and Wu cannot comprehend this. It's Shuten's fault, but also Wu just doesn't get it. She's but it's a haunted house. You're supposed to be scared. Why would I not maximize the fear? In my torture manuals, it says that we should marinate them in fear first. It's very funny. It comes out later that I think specific. I don't remember if it was Doman, but I think it may have been. But also Scotty mentioned to work with Ibuki Doji, not Shuten Doji, as her co-manager.
But Shuten just showed up.
Yeah, Shuten just showed up, and Wu was just well, you're a something, Doji, so you're fine, but I actually think that Shuten is a much better assistant manager than Ibuki would have been.
As long as Shuten maintains her interest, at least.
Yes. If she gets too bored, she, fucks off. But, she's pretty proactive a couple of times. And even though we had, we're trying to advise them on, okay, we need to, tone it down, we need to find something more approachable, they're no, I've got the perfect solution for this. A passing mystic gave me some extra juice that I should use. Because, of course, Doman has been here. And so they summon extra super ghosts to make it even fucking scarier. So we gotta fight a lot of ghosts. There's a pretty neat, for characterization moment where, Gareth powers all the way up because she runs into the ghost, the, phantom shade of the Red Knight. Who
I do think it was a bit random.
Sword. Yeah, it's kind of out of place. Like I said, that was supposed to be the 100 Visitor Special, was the extra ghost summoning. That's right. Because we were the 99th, but it was us, and we was too embarrassed to pick it up, so we were VIPs, and then the actual 100th customer came. But yeah, no, you're right that I think, I guess it's probably because it didn't have anywhere else to go, but it felt like it was just a weird nod to get that extra characterization, because we do like to do that with our summer servants, give them some cameos and stuff. There's a couple of times where we spend some one-on-one time with Lady Avalon and Ibuki and stuff.
Yeah, I know, but I think this is one of those things I think is a little weird about this summer. Some things definitely more so than other summer events, some things feel very tacked on. Summer Arise say once you fully level up, she talks about how her third ascension is actually what she wore when she was, the Reaper of oh my god, Akihabara and stuff, and maybe why that's like one loon, but we really don't really get into that at all. And same with like Gareth and her Mystic Sword.
Yeah.
Like we have like a single one-off fight in the middle of a giant fight where she gets to talk about, yes, this is where I got my sword from, and we don't really go into it more than that. And I'm like, that's
a
little weird.
There's one of the side stories if you like fully upgraded later where you get an interesting interaction where Gareth runs into Morgan and Bubble out and about and accidentally calls like Lost Belt Morgan mother and then has to flee from embarrassment.
Cute.
And then Ibuki cheers her up, which was funny. But also, like, we don't get to see the back half of that conversation where Gareth, like, goes back to Morgan and, like, apologizes. And I'm like, that feels like a missed opportunity for characterization. Like, I get that obviously we want to emphasize, and the reason why Gareth is embarrassed is because Lost Belt Morgan is obviously not her mother. But also, like, that's kind of a thing that we don't really get into a lot in FGO because it's not proper human history Morgan. It's Lost Belt Morgan about, like, hey, we have a lot of, Morgan's kids in the crew. That the relationship with their mother is very important to a lot of people. Agravain, it kind of seems to have come up a little with Gareth.
You know what? Lost Belt Morgan still has real Morgan's memories. It could. Yeah, I think that's close enough.
Comment on it, and
I
also
think it's close enough.
This is actually a thing that I don't think has been done. We'll see if it comes up in like the next summer. But like, we've got a great, funny opportunity here for like. Mordred, Gareth, and Gawain, like, interacting with Babanshi and having to be like, okay, well, so the Lost Belt Morgan is not our mother, literally, but, like, she knows what's up there. So, like, if Babanshi is, like, her daughter, like, does that mean she's sister? And then Gareth, of course, would be like, yes, this sister. and Mordred would be very bratty about it, and Gawain would just be like, man, they don't pay me enough for this shit. Who wants potatoes? There's opportunity for some of that crossover there that, like I said, we missed a little, and you are right that like it is a little scattershot. I do kind of wonder like when we had these servants designed because, like I said before, Summer Gareth, very plain, very straightforward kit. It's not bad, but it's definitely like not as jazzy as some of the others. And her ascensions are also kind of like funny because like obviously her lifeguard one is very summer themed, and you don't really picture Gareth as like sexy lady. But like her third ascension is just like, hey, we just invented an extra Gareth costume. It's cool. I like it. I like her with like the Mystic Swordsman dress and the big sword. But like it is kind of just out of left field,
Yeah. Like I'd say like honestly, like I want to say this about like the event in general. Like I do feel like we're kind of all over the place. Like the Flower Garden was just literally an excuse to get Lady Avalon in the party.
Yes.
Same with, I can't remember what Arisa's area was.
Waku Waku Edison Land.
Waku Waku Edison Land. Like, there's, like, honestly, they really don't, like, really serve much narrative purpose in the story. They're just there to introduce characters. But I don't think they necessarily do, either Lady Avalon or Edison necessary justice. I think, the Haunted House does a great job of characterizing, Caster Wu because, like I said, there's a lot of her in it, but like in Waku Waku Arise Land, most of you get out of Arise is she's just kind of
she's very chuny and she's undaunted by spicy food.
Yeah. But with like and
we get a little bit of her like also being a nerd about servants with the Argonaut stuff, but that's like way at the end of a joke.
Yeah, but like with like Wu, you get a lot of Wu. Because I think the problem with Arise Land is that she also had to share space with the Argonauts and the Nemo series, so she didn't get as much time to flex who she was. And
I think like characterization wise, Gareth is the smallest because like she's just put on the crew from the start and just is ride or die with us. Like as part of the ensemble, I think she's very good. We have a lot of fun like interplay between her and like Yon King, which is great.
Oh, God.
Lots of good Yon King stuff in this as well.
Yeah, Baron has a good point. The Red Knight versus Gareth does sound like something that should have been a fucking interlude or something.
It probably should have been an interlude, but I think they put it in because they were like, shit, she's a summer. When are we going to get a chance to do this, It is definitely like, that is what, would, if this was like a different year of FGO, right? Those plot stuff would be a interlude for normal Gareth. Ibuki starts off seeming also kind of random, but I think it wraps her back around in a good way. Like, she's actually quite important to the plot for reasons. And I think we do a really good job of bringing Summer Scotty back when we talk about the next attraction. But yeah, I mean, I think part of that is intentional. I do think that some of this is supposed to feel kind of like uncanny and slipshod. One, because it's part of the gag of Summer Scotty running unlimited checks, but also like a very recurring theme of this story, the actual part of it, which I think has a little bit of that deeper cut writing, is like several characters, not just Scotty, not just Ibuki. Hey, spoilers, it was Ibuki the whole time. It was her idea.
Yes.
God's gonna do God things. But like several of them are like, hey, why do you even bother like restoring humanity? That sounds lame. Wouldn't it be cool if you just had summer forever? And obviously, like, you as the master get a couple of different ways you can say, like, no, we have to, like, it's not just sunk cost fallacy, it's also, you know, proper. Humanity got fucked up, and it's our job to fix it. So, you know, we're supposed to be doing this. We're supposed to be trying to help people and fix the bleaching of the earth. Come on. Having a little fun's not bad, but, you know, eventually we gotta, summer ends, we have to stop and we have to move on, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like part of that, like, the fact that Arctic Summer World, compared to some of the other summer events we have gone through, is kind of poorly planned and all over the place. Like, that is right, but you're right, it does make the writing very odd. Especially because, like, we could talk at length about all the beats in the haunted house, but it's pretty long and pretty fun. I also like that the solution is crazy. Lady Avalon, like, invents an autonomous system. The fear sensor, yeah. And we, like, program the torturers because they're, like, technically Wu's familiars to, like, detect exactly how much fear everybody can take to give them the perfect balance. Which is very funny. Hopefully this year we get Summer Miyu, because Ilya and Chloe brought Miyu along for moral support.
Mm-hmm.
It's great note. But yeah, you know, we blow through that pretty quick. You know, Ibuki and Wu decide to keep following us. So we go to our next, which is I don't remember the title of it, the actual one, but yeah, it's the Servafez Hotel. It's like
Minifez.
Yeah, Minifez. Which is run by, you know, Jean and Jolter. And this writing is as a callback to this summer, which obviously we just talked earlier about how it's so popular it is, and it's one of our favorites. That's really cool. In terms of the plot, there's a lot of, I don't even know if it's like faffing around here. There's a lot of really weird stuff where like Jolter is like talking about like, yes, you get to experience the joy of creating a manga for yourself. We'll print it and everything. And we're setting up for the Minifez. Hey, there's a new, you know, there's cameos here like, hey, you know, we're gonna get a new Servant Fez soon. You know, obviously they knew what they were doing for the next summer here. But also it's like, at the same time, it's kind of like, also wasn't that like fucking the reason why we had to like fight abstract representations of like deadlines and uninked pages was because we were losing our fucking minds in the time loop? Like, weren't we taking sand damage just then? Should we be turning this into like an amusement park amusement?
Well, also, this is an idea coming from a berserker and someone who is infinitely trying to exhibit big sister energy. Yeah. So no, I do not think the runners of the segment are not quite in their right minds to begin with.
That's fair. Yes, that's why I think we don't question it.
But no, like, I do think, like, when I started into this, I thought this was going to be another weird one, but honestly, I think, like, this area probably has the most solid writing out of, like, all the sections.
Yeah, like I said, it's only that initial pip, but the back half.
Yeah, the back half, because this is when we really get into Summer Scotty's story, who, decides to pull a fucking escape from her hospital bed to come hang out here. By the way, I do want to call this out. I hope this is in her voice lines and stuff, but, at one point, like, basically after you complete every section, you get a little voice message from a servant, and after you do the Arctic Demon King Castle, you get one from Summer Scotty, which ends with her as like, wait, is that a needle? And, you know, you just hear a Scotty scream, and I'm like, yes, this is going to live in my heart forever, under lock and key.
Yeah, I hope that is also buried in her voice line so you can listen later.
But yes, she has, because she flees the attentive care of, oh god, let's see, who was it? We got most of the doctors there, because we got Nightingale, Paracelsus, Asclepius, because Asclepius stays behind.
Yeah, Asclepius stays behind to look after Scotty.
And then we leave, I think we leave like 4 Valkyries behind as nurses.
Yeah. We get some spread. But she slips him. There's a great moment here where there's like a weird flash, and we're just kind of like, huh, that was weird, and then don't remark on it earlier. And later it turns out that was like Scotty fucking Men in Black flashy thinging us. She used a rune to just charm everybody.
Yep, be glamorous.
Into not realizing that she was overworking herself. But yeah, I call it the back half, but that's not really true. We pick this part up really fast, but the further end after the intro like comes together into a really tight story about like Summer Scotty trying to express herself. Like we end up asking her like, you know, and she's like, oh, I didn't look at this attraction at all. It's quite neat. Let me see. Hold on, real quick. Let me reprogram myself to have the skills to draw a manga. Jolter is not okay with this. She suffers emotional damage from this, but yeah, she uses her runes to just, you know, the Allfather's wisdom to just learn how to draw, and then we ask her, like, what kind of story do you want to tell? And, like, hey, it turns out that Scotty has, like, some real deep-cut, like, emotional stuff to work through, you know, writing a very, like, interesting, like, I guess, like, kind of, like, dramatic, like, slow burn style, you know, manga about, you know, bringing peace between giants and humans,
it's like, you know, she lost the world of humans and giants and felt like she couldn't do anything to fucking stop it, and that might have been eating away at her inside.
And yes, by the way, this, the symbolism of the double rings and the manga is her Summer Scotty's Bond CD, so it's important.
I love that we had actual covers of both volumes, because she writes 2 volumes.
Yes. No, and that's actually, that's another really cool moment where they get very meta with it, but, like, because it turns out that, like, hey, Scotty did not actually fully, recover. She, like a lot of mangaka with health issues, she can't actually go the whole 9 yards and write another fucking 1,000 chapters. So, we have to go through the editing process, you know, we have to take all of her world-building notes and character stuff and prune it down to a reasonably sized volume. So yeah, no, that's pretty fun, and that, you know, we discovered that's how she did her jailbreak, is she just fucking flashbang Nightingale and the rest to escape. But yeah, no, it turns into a great, like, characterization moment, but it's definitely one of those things of, like, at first it feels really weird, but it comes together really well, and it is interesting to know with Future Sight that obviously they're also, like I said, they're repping for the fact that next year is Servafest 2. But yeah, it's an interesting one. And then we get to the last stage, which isn't even an, like, attraction, even though it is a really interesting, like, tall tower thing. But, you know, Ibuki's holed up inside. We figure out that it's this is where Ibuki reveals that it's, you know, her behind it all the time.
The way, though, is like, she acting like she really wasn't hiding it. Because at one point, she's all like, who could be the mastermind? We were like, who could be the mastermind behind this? And Ibuki's like, she was standing behind you the whole time. And you're just like, what?
Because I do believe it's during one of the art phases that, at the mini-fez, we do get our little walk-around with Ibuki. Because she wants to do a book, too.
Mm-hmm.
She decides to do a photo shoot book where she independently invented Shuten's costume, and we are not allowed to sell it.
But we did get to see it.
Yes.
Because we took the photos.
Yeah. And a great moment where she tries to, like, change costumes just, like, out by the pool, and we have to be like, whoa, hold on, don't do that.
No, wait, no.
If you do that, Raiko is gonna fucking kill us. It's gonna be the fucking tactical Duke from Modern Warfare, man, don't do that. And some people were like, man, the Master's, like, in our Discord, some people were like, man, the Master's really dumb, and I was like, no. Summer Ibuki has beach catastrophe. Her beach levels are apocalyptic. They're very dangerous. Don't do it. We'll be in trouble. But yeah, no, like, yeah, I feel like Ibuki probably wasn't trying to hide that she was the mastermind, but it's also one of those things where, like, you know, I feel like the cheerleader costume isn't too far off, because, like, Ibuki, like, for being a ultra dangerous wild beast of a goddess, is also kind of an airhead. Like,
well, just because, like, well, again, I think the way I would put this is, just because one's a wild beast doesn't mean they're fucking, you know, violence incarnated. Even wild beasts like to have a good time.
Well, and this becomes a lot of her mantra later, even when she's acting a lot more serious, is she's just like, you know, dance, frolic, everything is permitted. Like, she set this up to create a new world of fun. You know, specifically, a permanent fun world.
Yeah, specifically for the Master, because that's what she thought. She thought the Master likes having fun at summer.
And we did have some fun summers. But also some of those summers were not fun. I feel like she does talk about some of our future past stuff, and I'm like, I mean, parts of the race were cool, but also we were put in prison for a while. And, like, some of the things you could build when we were the very first summer, we were stranded on the island. Some of the things we could build were not safe. I remember Mordred's iron house.
Yeah, Mordred was also Mordred had all the dumb ideas. I'm gonna be real. She did.
Yeah. No, they were. I think there was and they were probably shared with somebody, but I think there was one or two ideas Mordred had that were safe. But otherwise, it was just no, this looks really cool. But yeah, so it was not all fun and games. Well, remember 2 summers ago now, talking about our island hopping adventure. Yeah, that was fun. But 2 summers ago was a fucking homage to horror movies. Okay, well, we did kind of, I think, play a lot of the final guy, final girl tropes as the master as well. But it also that one was very psychologically freaky. We had some weird times, man.
But we still had fun.
It's true. And I mean, we had fun. But like I said, it's one of those moments where, because Ibuki doesn't understand humans well. This is actually another really good part of that little side quest with her and Gareth. At one point, she talks to Gareth and is I don't know if I have what you humans call a heart. And Gareth is no, you definitely have a heart. It's probably, weird, but, I think you've got a heart. And they're aw, cool, besties. So, Ibuki does not necessarily she's a goddess. That's something that Fate is very firm on, but she does not operate on the same playing field as humans. So I think, like I said, she probably, I don't want to say she forgot she was the mastermind, but definitely she reprioritized being the mastermind was way less important than, getting fucking smashed and bathing in lava and shit.
Priorities, baby.
Yeah. But no, when it all comes out of, Doman will not, it won't reveal the exact mastermind, and we're who is it? She's just oh, it was me. It was me, actually. Hi. Anyway, let me put on my war face.
It was a hell of a war face it is, too.
Yeah, no, both those, the actual Third Ascension and then the slight color variant version for the costume are pretty rockin'.
I don't want to say it's a slight color variation. She gets some honking ass horns.
Yeah, a few things. But the tower, it becomes a whole thing. We start summoning a lot of the fish. This is another thing that I still don't get. Some of them are koi colored, so maybe it makes sense. But why can Ibuki summon unlimited flying piranhas?
It might have something to do with her divinity. The fish might be a thing. I don't know. I guess water predators kind of make sense. I mean, again, it could just be that Ibuki learned about piranhas and she was those are rad. But yeah, the reason why they're ice colored is because that was actually Doman covering up that they were Ibuki's familiars, not SKADI'S, but still. But we gotta fight unlimited waves of stuff. This is just an excuse to do the scene that we all love, where everybody from the entire event comes back to help us out in the tower, and it's pretty neat. Even the Backspears boys are there. We get up to the top of the tower, and we have our confrontation. Ibuki's full goddess mode. She's very scaly. But I appreciate that she's also fair when she's everything is permitted, and we're does that mean fighting you is permitted? And she's yes. So, we sort it all out. And then we after getting our kind of serious moment, we switch back to wacky, because one of the epilogues is Doman thought he could escape a judgment. He cannot.
Yes. Including my favorite, if you pick, I've forgotten the name of our Tengu friend for a second.
Kichi Hogan?
Yes, thank you, Kichi Hogan. If you pick Kichi Hogan as your story support, she fucking switches to Pretender.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, just to enforce you having class advantage against Doman and his giant egg.
That's rad.
Yeah, no. Also, hey, please, Summer Kichi Hogan. Please let this be a preview. But yeah, so, no, we just clown on him. It's very funny. And then we get kind of serious again, because, the Valkyries were summoned by, the new set of Valkyries were summoned by the Grail, so they're gonna fade. But then Lady Avalon, does a little cheat. Which does explain, why the new ones are costumes, technically. Because they are, literally Lady Avalon, tricks the Chaldea recording system into just, oh, well, they're the same. Don't worry about it. She leaves, and it's kind of cute. I love this fucking Merlin interlude, though, where he's just oh, yes. That's very interesting. But my little sister? Fuck no. Not possible, man. None of my relatives are that fucking weird. And then there's the projection of Foe that's just Foe. There's oh my god, I'm so glad Foe came along on this. I mean, obviously it's so that he could do violence to Lady Avalon, right? But,
yes.
Oh, I miss Foe. We keep leaving Foe out of, main story because it's super dangerous and smart, and it would probably be kind of a weird tension break if Foe was there to be, cute and cuddly with us. But, Foe's so fucking funny, guys.
Hang on one second. Phone call.
Lucky's getting the phone call tank buster. That's absolutely a 1%er. But yeah, no, like I said, this, I think I concur with Lucky that, like, this event is good. I don't know if it would beat my top-rated summer because it is, like, very, like, weirdly scattershot. I don't feel like, I mean, especially compared to, like, how put together next summer's characters are thematically, especially if we count Ash in there as well, because we should, because Summer Morgan literally has the summer mode tag. Like, our selection of characters are kind of scattershot. You know, I think we did pretty good with all the males. Doman obviously is, like, very important. Sorry, Lucky's mic is doing that thing where it's not, he's got, like, a second mic that's, like, active somewhere. It's just giga quiet. That's not really being recorded really well, and it just confused me for a second. What was I in my thought process? Yeah, I was just saying that, like, that's right. I think all the male were utilized really well. You know, like, Asclepius kind of leaves the story for a while, but we at least still contact him, and he's got some good points in there. Doman obviously is very important as the antagonist and kind of going back and forth, and we get some really good parts. I forgot to mention, and I can say we actually, but, you know, after clearing, you know, the Genji area, we do a fireworks show on the boat deck, and you know, the master bullies Doman with Nagiko into lighting some fireworks. It's pretty fun. And obviously, like Yanking is a major MVP for this event. He is there the whole time on your side. He's very helpful. He's very straightforward. He's not like a weirdo at all. He's just hanging out. He puts up with some extra crap, you know, like sparring with like Gareth and stuff. So it's all, you know, high levels of thumbs upage. Yeah, it's a great time for Yanking. I need to make sure to, because I think my Yanking's like NP like 4, maybe even 5. I gotta make sure to absolutely make sure to lock in his costume. He's looking like a cool dude. Yeah, I stopped farming for a second. See where I'm at. If you're curious, by the way, for the sake of time while we're waiting for Lucky to wrap up his phone call, or for me to pause.
Sorry, I'm back.
Okay, he's back.
Sudden mom is sudden.
I know. It's like that the joke Loft made earlier about the tank buster of the phone call. You're just like, oh shit, I have to take this. Okay, so that's, yes, I already have Yankee's costume. Good. It's and that was Asclepius I just bought. But I am at 860k points.
Oh, that's way further than I am. I'm only like 300 and something, but like I said, I really didn't start farming hard, and I almost didn't farm at all yesterday. So
that tracks. I'm ahead because I have, like I said, I've been able to actually get into the 90 plus node. You know, once you're you know, now that you cleared the story, once you go in on farming, you've got your Ibuki, so you should be able to schmoove pretty good.
Ooh, baby.
Let's get those lores. Yes, no, yeah. I was just talking about, like, I think the writing is kind of weird. Like, a lot of the areas mostly just seem to be there to introduce our characters, and our characters do kind of seem like they were picked out of a hat in places. All the guys, I think, do a really good job in this.
Oh man, I love Yanking in this.
Yes.
Like, so much. Like, it's one of those things that I feel is bad, but I sometimes forget about Yanking. But every time he shows up in stories, he's such a rad dude.
Yeah. So yeah, no, it's definitely one of those moments, and like I said, it's like, oh yeah, I tabbed back to my phone because I was like, oh, I need to make sure I bought his costume so I can hook him up. And like, Asclepius kind of, like I said, dips out for a little, but he's still important because he's still tied to all the stuff we go through, and I think his interaction with Aerise about the Argonaut stuff is really good, and, you know, medical stuff comes up a couple of times. But yeah, like, Gareth, I feel like, is a little, like, oddly undercharacterized in the event, and the parts of her that are characterized do kind of feel like it's just, like, I feel like we could have, like, expanded on that better, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we have her, like, dressed as a lifeguard. There's only one event where we actually do any lifeguarding, and I don't even think she does that. We fight a boar instead. And like you said, I feel like with Aerise, this is more like just like we want to, like, remind everybody we came up with a second volume of Fate Requiem. Like, we have more character stuff that FGO didn't touch on yet in her event. It is good to see, like, Voyager still has some cameos, and I like Voyager as a character. It is good to see Aerise kind of, like, not glued to the hip to Voyager. Let her flex her wings a little, but yeah. We get a lot of woo, and so I feel like that's just the writer had a lot of fun there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely kind of like kind of scattershot. Lady Avalon is fun, but by her own design, she's, you know, very cagey. Like, I mean, you could argue that she's on vacation too, obviously. She's just chilling. But I think she so far is the only, like, pretender in the game other than, I think, the Welfare Liz, who doesn't get, like, a true name reveal extra, you know, unlock because we don't actually figure out what her deal is. Yeah. She gets unsummoned while still pretending to be just Lady A. Merlin, everybody's little sister. So it's a curious event. I think it'll be interesting to compare with like where next year's gonna come, because I don't know a lot about that story, but knowing the cast, like, I feel like that's gonna be very tight with like the characterization, right?
Oh yeah.
Because obviously we lean very heavily on the LB6 parts, but even then, I feel like Suzuka and Chloe were very well set up in this event. There's another whole side thing you can do in the Genji area where Suzuka shows up and literally says, "Oh man, I should have picked up a swimsuit."
And she says she's gonna have like the most like, I can't remember what she said, but she's gonna have the best swimsuit. And I was just like, yes. And little did we know this was very heavy foreshadowing.
Yeah, not the only time they've done that. Once again, it leaves me open-ended. Hey, maybe we can give me fucking Summer Paracelsus. He was in a CE. Give me Summer Nightingale finally. Come on, give me them cameos. But like, what little I know about like some of their skills and stuff, like Chloe makes sense because like I think her job is to be, you know, like a manga editor. It's Servifez, of course. You know, like that's like her NP and stuff going on there. And so like it'll be interesting to see like how that does actually translate. And I'm also obviously very curious to see what our new summers will be like. You know, will we have kind of an eclectic mix, or will we be more like focused?
Yeah, I will say, like, LB, I mean, the last summer was very focused, because we literally did all 3 nights of the round, and we had Ash as our anniversary, who does just have a swimsuit, so...
Yes. And of course, don't forget Berserker Castoria, too, you know.
Oh, yes.
So, like, big on the LB6 crew, and, like, I think, like, I have to double-check the full lineup of everybody, but I think, like, I mean, for males, in EN, our last year, the Da Vinci Summer Adventure, like, the dudes were obviously super well picked. Fucking finally got Summer Blackbeard. That was really cool. And, you know, Magikarp and Achilles are great picks. I'm trying to think who the rest of the crew was. That was Summer Say debut, I think, right? Great pick. Summer Canis, obviously, which worked out pretty good because that was our first, like, real chance, I think, where we got Gordolphin on the shenanigans, which is fun. I hope that keeps happening. Oh, right. It was... The other 4 stars were Anastasia and Charlotte, which were also like, you know, those characters hadn't really interacted in story, but they played off each other like so well. Mm-hmm. It's like that was really good. Who else was in Summer Adventure? My brain is melting. Oh right, Okitan and Summer Kama. That's right. Oh, God, sorry. I'm thinking about all the Summer Kama stuff. That was so fun. I'm the bad guy. I'm so evil. Yes, dear. That's very nice. You're very evil. I'm sure. Would you like to go on a long walk on a beach?
I think that's the difference I enjoy between Doman's evil and Kama's evil. Kama's evil is ultimately ineffectual. Doman's evil is ineffectual because we're so fucking suspicious of him.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like both, you know, Demon King, you know, Kama and Ashia Doman. The moment we see them, we're like, oh, they're gonna try something, but it's very different. Doman is like, he just can't help himself being just a little squiggly shit.
Yeah.
Kama also can't help herself, but also, like you said, she is completely self-defeating in a different way, where we just know the score, and like I said, I joked about, yes, you're very evil. Would you care for a long walk on the beach? And of course, you know, Kama would be like, yes, on the long walk on the beach, I'll get him. And then it's just like, oh no, we're alone on the beach, it's beautiful, we're holding hands. Shit. But yeah, it was a good one. Let's see. I think, actually, I'm thinking on it now. Have we gotten a lot of our really major, like, Lost Belt characters? Scotty's gotten a summer. Canis has gotten a summer.
Ivan doesn't have a summer.
I mean, hey, if I'm building my dream team, I think we got a 5-star slot. Do Dapper Ivan from that one anniversary scene. Make that the summer. That'd be real fun. It's been since I haven't had a banner chat. That'd be pretty cool. But like, you know, Anastasia, of course, got a summer. Charlotte got a summer. Asclepius was in. I guess we could do Summer Lakshmi Bai. I don't think we actually got a lady out of 4.
I mean, I think people would love a summer costume for Arjuna Altar, or definitely for
William Tell.
I'm trying to think of his damn name, but I can't. Big Wheel.
Ashwataman. Yeah, it's hard.
Ashwataman.
Yes, no, both those designs. That's all Paco. They'd love that.
Yes.
Sorry, you started saying, and I thought it wasn't correct, but my brain went to William Tell as well, and I'm just like, old man summer. But yeah, no, a summer Ivan would be really cool, especially after we got, you know, fucking crack dealer Oberon summer stuff. Very funny. So yeah, I'm curious to see what the theme is, because I'm very interested to see what it is. But I guess the point is now is it's technically going to have been over a year, so we need some Lost Belt 7 summers.
I can't talk about that since we haven't gotten in there.
No. I suspect the internet would be super happy if it was Summer Kukulkan, but I'm not sure. Doesn't Tez have like a diving suit as one of his ascensions, or is that just a CE art? People on the internet like Tezcatlipoca. I don't know why he's squiggly, because that could be a real costume.
I mean, I think it's the same reason that people like Doman and or someone else, but I couldn't think.
There's a few. So yeah, we got some flexing. Summer Don Quixote.
That'd be pretty good. Yes.
I mean, I am personally betting, because they also showed up in a cameo together. There was like a weird sneeze moment. I'm betting on Summer Kremhild.
No, yeah, I am as well.
That was a very fun interaction that she and Siegfried had, and Siegfried has his summer drip. So
no, it is. I think that is on one of the most like on the list on everyone's like bingo sheet of. I think most people are expecting a summer Grimhild. Sorry, I said Brynhild. I was like, wait a minute.
Nope, other one.
It's the other power couple. I love Goldolf saying like, "There's more than one." Which is like, "Yep."
Just like, yeah, man, you don't even know. And then Kremhild sneezes. That was great. I am curious, since she is like a mega turbo like guest character. Can we get away with Summer Archetype Earth?
I don't know.
I kind of feel like not, because like I feel like she would have to appear in the story. And while like Nasu and Takeuchi does have some notes about that, like a lot of people have talked about how like her third ascension is kind of supposed to be like maybe like hypothetically what Archetype Earth would be like in FGO if she did show up. But it is just like a hypothetical. Like, so like they've got the wiggle room, but also part of the point is that like she's a cameo character and Arc should not normally appear in Fate Works. Obviously that didn't stop Extra, but it was, weird.
That's I think she's even the cameo in Extra. That's the thing.
I mean, she is one of the actual, like, weak bosses, but yes, I think that's where the funny vamp thing comes from.
Yes.
She's also a berserker, so, like, she doesn't really talk. And if I remember rightly, her master has no fucking idea what he's doing. He's just some weirdo who doesn't even know, like, correctly, like, who she is. Also, actually, I forgot to mention this in the news earlier, but I think I saw it was earlier this week. There was, like, a little, like, reminder Teasy Bop trailer about Extra Record not too long ago. I think they're saying we're going to get some more concrete news in August as well, probably at FGO Fez. But they're still trucking.
It still exists.
Yeah. It's not canceled. Studio BB's on the smaller side, and they're not the primary output of Type Moon, so it's taken them a while, but they're working. And I'm like, I'll wait. But yeah, so they could get away with another cameo, but I think, like I said, it would be weird. It's way too soon for Summer Alco. That can't happen yet. Summer Tiamat would be pretty based.
I would like a Summer Tiamat, but I don't know. They might be holding on to that one.
I mean, if they make her a different class, that could be an easier way to get Draco, but I do not think Summer Draco just yet.
No.
That doesn't feel quite right. I also think that some sort of Summer Koyan Sky is also a pretty good expectation, but we'll see what up.
I would like a double Koyan Sky Servant. Because, like, I don't know if we talked about this, I love the ticker tape.
Oh yeah, we haven't mentioned it all, but it's so good.
No, just reading like shit people are getting up to. I was like, no, this is excellent. I love it. And in one of them, it does mention that both Koinskaya of Light and Dark were hanging out. So there is canonically two of them, like at Galdea. So I'm just like, yes, let's go. Give me the twinsies.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff here, but it just keeps going. It's basically the fucking pigeon tweets from that one Semiramis event, but and more so. Yeah. It's real good. But yeah, we should probably we're at about like 3 hours of recording, and it is after midnight. We should probably wind this in. Any other similar thoughts?
No, not really.
Coin Skies of Summer would be good. I mean, she's on the anniversary poster. Sorry, I tabbed over and I was staring at the craft essences from Caldea Summer Adventure, and I remembered how fucking rad this one is. I've accidentally hit it save as, not copy. It's Pinky Beach, this one. Just like, yeah, it's cool.
It's good.
But yeah, alright, okay. That's our FGO time. We're at 3 hours, so we don't need to, slam around too much. I do, for sure, want you to talk a little bit about Remnant 2, though.
Okay. So, let me sell you a little bit on Remnant 2. So, Remnant 2, as implied by the 2, is a sequel to what I want to call a sleeper hit, Remnant. I don't think Remnant actually, like Remnant from the Ashes, did any like gangbuster sales numbers. But I do think that in the communities that it's circulated in, it is fairly rated as pretty good.
I have heard of Remnant 1 before, yes.
If I was to put Remnant and Remnant 2 in a category, I would put it in Soulsborne's Light. This is a game that's where you basically do run around a bunch of very creepy worlds, fight a bunch of bosses, and usually gets to turn something of theirs into a weapon for later. You have your campfires that, reset enemies, and things can kill you pretty quickly if you're not fucking careful. But what I liked that is different about Remnant and what's making it Souls Light is that combat is not difficult, I want to say. I had to think about that for a second. Like, you, instead of having combat is a lot more simple. Like, you still got your rolling. Oh shit. You still got your rolling. You still got, guys who will just fucking stun lock you to death. But generally, you're a lot stronger than you think, and it's not as hard to get away as I expect. Oh, that guy just hit me through a wall. That just literally gave the lie. You asshole.
Rip.
Well, like I said, not enemies like this, but this guy is just being a particular fucking pain. Because Remnant is different from like most like Soulsborne games, is that your main weapons are guns. You have a long arm, a handgun, and a melee weapon. And while like switching between them isn't the smoothest, it is usually like fairly fun. Like right now, I am using a homemade automatic rifle that I have strapped some fake technology onto, and is running one of that. My sidearm is a tiny mystical hand crossbow that I got from killing a nature spirit's sister and giving up a ring. And most times when you see enemies on map, you don't have to go run up to them and hit them. You can just start shooting them from afar, and usually you can take out many dudes before they actually become a problem. There are elite enemies and guys with like bigger health bars that will completely try to wreck your jam. But like I said, you can smack them. You can pull out your fucking double barrel shotgun at your head and give them the 1-2, or engage them in melee. So you have there is options and stuff. And unlike a lot of Soulsborns, you don't level up in the same way that you would in this. You don't have strength, dexterity, and whatnot. What you have instead is archetypes and traits. For example, in Remnant 2, the archetypes I'm using, because you can have 2. You start with 1, and you can unlock more as you go, and you can have up to 2 at a time. What I am rocking right now is I'm rocking a handler and a summoner. The handler gets you a dog companion that will attack enemies for you, gives out auras, and if you go down once, it will, revive you. It's pretty handy for staying alive. I've combined this with the summoner archetype, which lets me summon dudes.
Yes. Well, obviously, Lucky, that means that since you're playing a Souls Light, that means you're doing it wrong.
Well, fuck you, because this is completely valid. Because I am progressing.
Yes. Also, by the way, that's true. If the game designers made it, it's okay. You're supposed to use it.
Oh yeah, Aaron's in there. Remnant 2. Like I said, I was up till 4 a.m. last night playing Remnant 2 with Aaron.
Yeah, I will probably not be able to join it tonight, but I think after while I'm editing this, I'll probably start that 75 gig download.
Yeah, Aaron, I met the blue lady you were talking about. The second world I got to, it was the world that you started in. So yeah, I'm having good times. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so you have archetypes, and you level up your archetypes to level 10, and they give you free traits and free abilities. Let me pull this up here on my menu since I am playing right now. You get a skill, and for handler, excuse me, big yawn there. There are 3 skills is guard dog, support dog, and attack dog, and basically tells you what kind of effect your dog has. Guard dog is your tank. Well, actually, no. Now I think about it, it's perfectly. Yeah, your guard dog's your tank, your support dog is your healer, and your attack dog's your DPS. And they have passive abilities to help along with that. Then you get other abilities that, if you're within certain range of your dog, you get buffs. If you move faster because you're with your dog, you can res each other faster, and when you use a relic, you can heal your dog. It's pretty cool. And each archetype gets a special trait that once you fully level up the class, you can use it on all your builds. For the handler, it is kinship, which reduces friendly fire damage, because that is actually a thing. I shot Aaron many times, but I didn't care that much because I had this trait.
One of those games.
So, and on the other hand, I have Summoner, which its skills is I can summon one of 3 lads. Right now, I only have the first summon, which are these 2 little ball spiky dudes. I just call them my lads, as Aaron can attest to.
I mean, what else are you going to call him? Steve? You can't do that.
Yeah. I'll call him Steve and Brad. And like as I level up this one, I'll also get more perks and abilities, and I'll be able to choose different summons. And the game, I believe, like when you start it, you get like 4 archetypes to choose from, and you only get one. You have to find the other ones by either like crafting them or finding the materials to do it. But you can start off with like a heavy armor melee kind of guy with like a shot. Well, I should say heavy armor close quarters kind of guy. I think he starts with like an automatic shotgun and a greatsword. You can be like a sharpshooter. I can't remember what it is, or a hunter. But, big gun energy, field medic, medic, and then handler, which is, the support class, which, the all-rounder class, which I picked. And then you, go into a world. And this is why one of the interesting things I really like about Remnant is, Soulsborne's games are usually very stuck in their genre, usually, very depression medieval kind of things. Like, you really can't escape that. Remnant does have its Depression Medieval, but that's only just one of the areas. Because you basically travel to different worlds, and each world has its own aesthetic. Like the ones I have seen so far is I have seen kind of the mystical forest of Depression, the colonial Britain of Depression, the space, the future sci-fi of Depression. Did I see a 4th world? No, I didn't. And I guess the Labyrinth of Depression. The Labyrinth of Depression is the thing that connects them all. So, like, right now, because the Mystical Forest of Depression was my first area, I picked up a lot of stuff. So I have, like, this bone staff. I had a rifle that was covered in, like gnolls and roots, because this is something I actually think is really neat. When you pick up weapons and stuff, you can either pick up, like, specialty weapons that come with their own mods. And mods are basically the special ability that they use to get extra effects. But if it doesn't, like if it's a more normal weapon, like just like a, ye old AK or something, you can slap a mod that you got from another world, slap it on it, and it changes the gun's appearance to reflect that. So you might get, like I said, like one of the common ones, because I went to the Mystical World, is it would get covered in tree roots and like red sap and stuff. But like I said, you'll see it like later. But like right now, I'm in colonial Britain of Depression with Faye, because apparently the worlds collided or something. And I'm dressed in like this, like in my fantasy elf armor with like big horns, wearing a bone staff and carrying a gun wrapped in tree roots. I'm all like, I am kind of sticking out here. I'm not surprised that everyone's all like outsider and trying to kill me. And like more on that is like every time like these are procedurally generated worlds. Like there's a lot of RNG involved. No 2 playthroughs will exactly be the same. Like Aaron and I realized this yesterday, because when I started this game, like I said, I got Mystical Elf with his Depression. When he started the game, he got, Fey Colonial Britain of Depression. And I kind of helped him through that. But inside those, you'll get different paths. Like, you'll get, like 1 or 2 starting areas, which determines the quote-unquote quest you do. And then you get randomly placed locations, dungeons, and events through it that leads you to, like, different results. Like, and some results are locked out if, like, something didn't spawn, or you might be able to get something extra if something did spawn. So, for example, because Remnant and Remnant 2 has something called Adventure Mode. You have your main story where you're actually trying to save the world and stuff, but if you ever just want to kick back and relax and do some grinding, you can do what's called Adventure Mode, where you just pick a world, generate it and run through it and complete like the stories and quests inside it. So you can
yes.
So you can just go like, cause that's what I did. That's how I like got more armor. That's how I got more weapons. That's how I got more trait points. Because like I said, you don't level up the same way like you would. Like you do level up your archetypes, which get you quirks and stuff. But the way that you make your build, so to speak, is by finding trait points and assigning them to traits. And your traits are like you have to find those. You don't just start with them all. Like when you start the game, you start with your archetypes trait and like what, 4 others? Yeah, because I started with kinship, and then you get vigor, endurance, spirit, and expertise, which is health up, stamina up, mod power generation, which basically is like your MP regeneration. The way that you use your mods is you shoot things, and as you shoot things, you build up power, and then once you have enough power, you can fire off a special attack. Simple. And expertise, which is a skill cooldown. And you have to go out through the game and do certain things in certain areas to unlock more traits. Like, for example, in the mystical elf woods of depression, I fought a boss called a root nexus, and when I killed it, I got the trait blood bond, which means that anytime I take damage, my summons actually take a bit of it instead, which I was like, oh shit, that's rad. That means they're summons, so now I have to go figure out where summoners are. And then, more exploring, I found out that there is a blood moon altar that that has more stuff than that, and I had to go discover stuff about that. But the stuff I needed to build the thing wasn't in my run, so I had to go do another run somewhere else to start gathering the stuff for it. So it's a game that lets you do a lot of replaying, and you're gonna kind of have to if you want to unlock more stuff. Like, I've been playing the game, like, oh god, I think I've got like over 20 hours in this game already, and it's just like my first run through, and I've only got like, I found a few more, like I got like Amplitude, Arcane Strike, Revivalist. I'm pretty sure I got Revivalist because I actually had to pick up Aaron one time, because he went down. I don't actually know where this came from, but I'm pretty sure because it has to do with, increase the speed of reviving and being revived by amount. I'm pretty sure I picked up Aaron and that gave it to me. Oh yes, that is right. Me and Aaron actually found spacesuits because Aaron's second world was the space planet, and we're just like, and we're running into places like the hatchery and, and the void vessel, and we're just like, okay. As we're like, I'm dressed like a fantasy elf. Aaron is in fucking scrap armor, wielding a great sword made out of scrap iron, and we're shooting drones down with our guns. Like, Remnant 2 has a very particular vibe that I don't think a lot of games actually get across well, where you basically do cross-genre gameplay.
No, we're really emphasizing that literally universes are colliding, and me personally, I'm like, that's rad.
No, it is really rad.
I've already opened up my PlayStation app on my phone and added it to my library.
Like I said, like I will say the game is a little obtuse with some things because there are options in things. Like where I'm talking about certain stories. Like this goes for bosses as well. Like you only get some items if you do certain things. For example, in my mystical elf woods of depression playthrough, the adventure quest I got was to fight the corrupted Ravager. And I went through everything, and at the end, I was given a choice of whether to help someone or not. And depending on which choice I was, would determine which fight I would do, and which boss item I would get from said fight, which would determine what, equipment, weapon, perk, trait, or something that I would get. Now, I can go back and do that again to get the other ones, but without a wiki necessarily to tell me which ones I'm going to get, there's a lot of going in blind and not knowing exactly what you're going to get. Especially since some of those things may affect quest lines later down the road in the same area. So, there's a lot of, going in blind and choosing, and sometimes some things are a little obtuse. There was a point in a temple where I was trying to open a door, and I couldn't figure it out for the life of me, so I opened up the wiki, and it says, oh yeah, no, you have to go look at this book, look at the symbol, and then the dead people who are covered in the shawls that has the symbol on them, you use those symbols above them to open up the door. And I'm like, okay. So
it's very specific.
It's very specific, but it is fun. It's it's a game that encourages exploring, but doesn't necessarily have the bullshit monster attacks of Soulsborne's
Yeah, it does
game.
sound like like, these guys, and I mean, I think it was explicit with the first game, it's inspired by, like, Dark Souls and Bloodborne.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Aaron brought up a very good one. I do want to bring this up. When I was playing with Aaron, we got to a dude called the Crimson King. And the guy was all like, pay me tribute. And I was like, and Aaron was like, okay, I'll pay you tribute. He was like, cool, thank you. I will give you this. And also, I'll give you this! And stabbed our characters in the back and we died. And we actually got an item out of that. It was the bloodstained sliver, which I could turn into a mod that turns into bloody chains that, wrap around enemies and turn them to blood. But we could have also probably, actually fought the dude and gotten something different.
Yeah, I'm about to say, if you told him, I thought that was gonna end where, like, because you started saying something and I'm like, Lucky's first instinct is to tell this guy to fuck off. And I was thinking, you were gonna finish the story. Well, I told him to fuck off, and then he turned into a boss and killed us.
Oh, but he probably could have turned into a boss and killed us, but we had the option not to, and so like, oh man. Because again, like, you don't have to engage. Like, not every potential boss encounter is a boss mechanic. Depends on what you chose, and I like that.
Yeah, like I said, to get back to what I was saying earlier, it seems like these guys really looked at those games, but one, they did not want to do the literal, like, roguelike parts of a Soulsborne and, give you, like, the Souls economy and, like, that classic RPG level up. Like, it's a third-person shooter, so it's not built on that axis. But because of that, it seems like they are more free to try and play around with the genre conventions, more so than I think. Like, I'll say this about FromSoft. Their games are very tight. I think the main thing is that what's going on with, like, Elden Ring and Dark Souls and Bloodborne, Sekiro, etc. I think that, like, Miyazaki and their team are trying to perfect an idea. Like that guy still has, like, the platonic ideal of a Soulsborne game in his head, and he hasn't quite made it yet, which is why their games are usually pretty similar. They're actually trying to, like, iterate on a concept without straying too far. Which tells me that they're very similar, but I get what they're going for. Unfortunately, a lot of imitators are like, well, obviously, we are attempting to clone Soulsborne, so we should just stick to all the same vibes, right? The Remnant series seems like they're taking, like, the environmental storytelling and the kind of, like, the feel of, like, a roguelike being, honestly, much more like the original Rogue, and that there's procedurally generated areas and stuff. But they don't feel the need to bust your balls as much as Soulsborne's games?
No, like, bosses are hard, and there definitely are mechanics to learn, but usually, me and Aaron got our ass kicked by one boss in particular last night, but not because the boss was hard, just because it was kind of RNG based, and it was a one-shot kill boss. But usually we can fight most bosses in one try. Definitely 2 tries. I am not looking forward to fighting the Nightweaver by myself, though, coming up here soon. That might be a little scary, because that's the quest I'm doing. Yay! These guys are back again! Die! So yes, like I said, you have a gun. Ooh, I unlocked flyers now. It's time for new lads. Right, so like I said, combat is not as hard. Like I said, guns, great equalizers. Like I said, they have, like, you can do, like, special abilities and stuff, and you don't have to go super crazy on builds and stuff to work. Like, because you can make, respec items, so if you want to retry something different, you can. Especially since that as I said, once you get level 10 in an archetype, you can take the special archetype assessed with that, and then put points in it when you have another archetype built on. So the more you play the game, the more you unlock, the more options you have for your build.
What's that? You don't have to defeat a major boss at the end of a major area filled with annoying little shits who shoot rocks at me to respec? Yes, that was a dig on the ring.
Yeah, no, to make the respec item, Who that?
Let's find all kinds of new stuff.
Oh, Sorry, I was trying to figure out my way into a room, and I did, and I found a guy working at a fucking counter. I was like, is that friendly? He was not friendly. He turned around and pulled out a giant axe.
That's not your friend.
That was not my friend. What's in the box? Just normal stuff. But, yeah, no, I like it. Like I said, I've been putting a lot of time into it. If Aaron has more time, I definitely want to play more with him. If you want to play, I'll definitely hit you up.
Yeah, sure. I like I said, I saw you guys together playing the other night. I didn't download it right away because one, Loth was also in the VC. I realize now that he wasn't in it.
No.
I think he yelled at me in Final Fantasy 14. But it is only 3-player co-op, and like I said, I pulled it up and was like, 75 gig download. was the other reason. So I was like, I don't know if you guys already had a trio yet. And like I said, I did not just check it out, but no, it definitely sounds a lot interesting. Like I said, I put this note in the What's Up zone, and specifically was like, well, no matter what happens, I definitely want you to talk about this game because you prefaced it in Mailbag as saying it was like a baby Soulsborne, and I'm like, this is a genre I'm very interested in. I like the aesthetics, and I like a lot of the design decisions of FromSoft's Soulsborne's games. I have had intermediate responses with various entries into the Soulsborne franchise because there are other parts of their game design ethos, mostly around the actual gameplay parts, that I don't like. And honestly, I've also been seeing a lot more people been having breakpoints with the DLC for Elden Ring as well, which is supposed to be pretty hard, and some people are not happy about how they've decided to kind of do that difficulty curve. Also, once again, I think there are performance issues on PC sometimes, which probably doesn't help a game like Elden Ring. If you're getting like frame stutters and an input lag when you're trying to fucking dodge the men who are trying to kill you, and there's 2 frames of their animation where it's safe to roll past them, otherwise you eat 4,000 swords that are on fire and are also made of blood and thorns. Actually, the joke should be for Twin Moon Rolana, I should talk about, like, what if they had a sword that was fire and another sword that was space? Moon space sword. Not kidding, actual boss. She shoots moons at you. It's fucking crazy. Luckily, the DLC is expensive, so I'm not fucking buying that shit anytime soon. Not gonna catch me sleeping. Also, I've reinstalled Elden Ring, but I've been terrible about playing it lately. I've been so much on, like, doing little bits of chipping away at Zenless or very much logging into FF14 or playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. Hours. And a little bit of Helldivers. But yeah, so, like I said earlier, I already added it to my library on my phone through the PS app, which is really good, by the way. The app's cool. And probably while I am editing this audio, because that will take me a while, since we're now over 3 hours, it'll take me a little bit to get through all the edits and stuff and process. But I'll definitely download it and probably... There's some tutorial stuff, right?
Yeah, no, there's a little... I will say, the game is a little obtuse in its tutorial areas. It'll give you the basic combat and stuff, but it won't tell you, like, the options you have. Like, it won't really point out the vendors and how you unlock extra stuff. Not right away, because you can do a lot of stuff from the beginning. It just doesn't tell you.
I may, depending on how long the download takes and the other work, I may poke it tonight, or I may just do it tomorrow, and we can bundle up with some of that. Though also, I know tomorrow we talked about, once again, hitting up treasure dungeons. Maps are fun and rewarding. We'll see what people are doing, because yeah, I'm like I said, I was very interested in the genre, and then you've done a pretty good job of everything, and I'm like, it's funny because I think like 2 or 3 weeks ago I was talking about getting back into Elden Ring, and I was like, man, what sucks about this game design is that there's lots of these spaces where there's like super tall heights or like long narrow corridors where they're like assholes shooting at me, and it's really hard to shoot back because range combat is kind of hinky, and you're like, what if you had a gun? And I'm like, that's perfect. I would love a gun. I would love to be able to pull out my gat and just be like, blah, 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 pull out, ye old M1 Garand and just be like, ping, you're dead. Because usually it's the enemies who go, ping, you're dead at me in Soulsborne games. But yeah, it's pretty cool. So yeah, I'll download it and we can definitely try it out. Our other big co-op game, while it is getting some updates and stuff, I don't know how much we will be continuing to play Helldivers right now.
I'm not feeling it, guys. Like, I know some people really in it, but every time I go in, it's like, okay, we gotta go up. I'm glad they brought it down to 6 to get super samples, but God, 6 with bugs, like, oh my God, we do not have the team cohesion to pull that off.
Yeah,
we really do not.
If I'm wondering about, some people are like, and I mean, some people are like, oh, I solo 9, but I think it is like cohesion, callouts and stuff. I think actually having all 4 members is good. That also probably really helps, having like the full selection of 12 stratagems. Actually, no, it's already 12 at 3. 16 stratagems. It's 4 slots. That'd be good. More variety in the weapons. I also think that part of our problem is that we keep like putting it down and picking back up. I swear, like, every mission, I think almost like each of us was picking a different primary weapon because we were like, man, what do I want to use against bugs? Does this do something? Does this do something? And like, obviously as players, we all have our own preferences, but also they're like different stats. I would not mind to switch back to bots, because I feel like we even though people used to say, I don't know if they still say, but people used to say bots was the harder, I do kind of feel like we spent a lot of time in the trenches on the bots in our personal play group. I feel much more like comfortable and familiar about how to handle that. Also, the commando is cool. Bug holes are literally harder than fabricators. Like, fabbers, there's a lot of ways you can kill them from quite a long way off, but the easiest is the spear. The spear is fucking magic. There's no equivalent to work on bug holes. You can hit them with, like, airburst rockets or the commando rocket launcher, which I actually do like the commando a lot. I think the damage is a little low. Sometimes I have to use the whole thing on a charger, and it's, like, 4 rocket equivalents. But, like, if you're good, it's got some real good zip, and it fires very fast. But the only way to, like, kill a bug hole is to, like, fire an explosive directly down the pipe, and just... That means I have to fight geometry, which... Arrowhead, your map design, it's very cool. Fighting geometry sucks ass. I do not understand what I can and cannot climb. I fucking hate chain link fences. They are way too strong. Please give me my machete or chainsaw attachment so I might be able to beat them down. Because the fucking bugs don't care about the chain link fences. And so it's just a pain in the ass. So yeah, I think we got way more comfortable about our strats with bots. I know, Lucky, like, you sometimes felt that, like, you were not necessarily recognized in the stat screen for your effectiveness at bots because fabricator kills don't count in the final stats. But I think we had that down to a science, like, real good.
Oh, yeah, like, I do wish it was done, but because, yeah, no, like, when we're going on bots, I'm like, all right, I am bringing my spear, I am bringing my rocket pods, I am bringing my rail strike, and probably a turret for something else, and I'm good. Like, I bring my, I haven't used it in a while, so I don't remember what it's called, but I had a gun that I was very comfortable with.
The Dominator,
the Dominator. And yeah, I would never have as many kills as you guys, but we almost never had to worry about when big, heavy things would show up, because I would usually have the solution on hand.
And you know that the mission is still successful. So like me or Loth, usually Loth with like most deaths, most kills. But like that's because like Loth or I would usually pick up some tech to like thresh littles, and that would be like our strat. Like, is there a fabricator? I point it out, and Lucky throws a missile at it. Good, mission accomplished. Are there a bunch of guys with chainsaws trying to punch Lucky in the back? Well, I should probably shoot them because I need him to shoot at fabricators. Our bug strats are just not as well put together, and I don't know like what the move.
Well,
is.
I think it's because bugs, like personally, are more chaotic.
Bots
are like just as likely to shoot you, so you can engage them from range. So they're not as likely just to spontaneously appear behind you and bite you in the butt.
Yeah, they can flank you, but it's different. Bugs try and flank you.
Like, we were talking about this the other day, like, on 6, where we're like, oh god, where were we on? It was, I can't remember the planet name, but we're just watching the land covered in just little bugs coming at us.
It was Crimsica. We were getting ready to bug out, which, meant that, like, we were dealing with some extra patrol spawns because the mission was going a little later. But, like, I crested a hill, and I was just like, oh, the hills are alive, and then you guys were, like, just behind the hill, and you came over and like, yeah, there's a lot of guys down there. And God, I mean, we were supposed to kill like a billion Terminids, so it's not like sometimes it was a problem. It wasn't like a direct problem. It was definitely like, man, there's just so many fucking guys, and they're crawling all over these angles, and like I said, they try and flank you. I also think, just in general, Nids need more audio tells. Like bots, you can tell when bots are near because they're like, and they're like humming their marching songs and shit. Terminids do make little squeaks when they hear you, but, like, they don't have, like, footstep sounds, which is bullshit, by the way, on, like, Chargers and the big boys. I need some fucking, please screen shake or something. The fact that Chargers can fucking sneak up on you sucks ass. It's terrifying. It sucks. Please don't. But, like, you're right that, like, bugs are really good at flanking and sneaking up behind you, and then it's just, like, how many times would one of us, like, be ratcheting around, we're doing objective, and just look at another player who's doing their fucking job killing bugs, and then just shout, Omega, Lucky, Loth, behind you! And then the other person is like, oh shit, they're behind me, and, like, your only options are, like, dive away, turn around, Because a whole pack of bugs snuck up on you. Yeah, so, like, it's... I just... My instant thought was like, man, do I need to go back to fucking, like, the flamethrower? I know I like to pack anti-armor. Should I get my flamethrower? It's... If we want to get back into it, we should probably, like, practice our bug strats a little, or we can just go back to punching bots. But they've got a big update planned for, like, the first week in August. They're adding new enemies, they're going to add new mission types, which is good. Like, maybe an infusion of some new variety and strategy in there.
If honestly, I'm starting to fade on Helldivers 2. If they don't add another free Warbond pack, I think I might be done. My constant grind trying to get fucking super credits so I can get new stuff is starting to drive me mad.
Well, and also there's with limited resources. I'm at 700-ish super credits, so I could do another premium Warbond. But I have played Helldivers a lot. I just checked my stats. I got over 200 hours and almost 250. I have most things. I think I'm coming up again on a point where it's I don't have anything to spend medals on. And yeah, so I mean, it is a titled free update, so maybe it'll be a big Warbond. I'd like to see it. They've been a little silent on it. I don't know what their exact plans are because they haven't talked, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I'd like to try it at least to see some of the new mission types. They've got a bug one that seems interesting where somebody has to instead of using one hand, you got to use your backpack slot to carry a Terminid larva, but sometimes the larva will scream and attract enemies. And I'm like, yeah, that seems interesting, especially because, depending on what you're doing in a bug run, it's not like you're being stealthy anyway, right?
Nah.
Bugs are it's not impossible, but I think they're harder to stealth than bots are. Bots have very narrow fields of vision. So, it's interesting. So, we'll keep poking it, but the update schedule has been a little chaotic, and I'm still where the fuck are cars? They've been data mined since the game fucking came out. They're not in. And you've added vehicle customization and stuff you're working towards. Where are the deployable covers that people data mined the first week? Supposedly there's been rumors about fucking summonable Seaf dudes. I would fucking love that stratagem. Just deploy a Hellpod or a Pelican drop and 4 disposable Yahoos come out. That'd be great. I'd love that. That'd be so handy for stuff. But because everything is locked to Warbond possession for weapons, and then I appreciate the effort they're going to with story, but making it so we have to complete 2 fucking major orders to get 1 new stratagem drop for a cool new support weapon is damn guys, you can't give me 4 new things at once, please. Let me pick and choose, But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. So we may have some free time to get into Remnant. Is kind of what I was getting at. Let's see. How long's the recording been going? 3:30. Yeah, I don't want to linger too long. I do want to say I should mention, since it did come up, and I don't know if everybody checks on Discord or Twitter. There was no fail portrayal this week. God told me to go fuck myself. I experienced a power outage for about 8 hours. That's not normal, even in Florida. We get power flickers and surges, but unless it's hurricane season, long outages are rare. Apparently a substation blew up. I'm going to say blew up. I don't know. All we got from the power company was that a substation went down, and at one point they said that there were 5,000 customers affected. But I'm saying a substation blew up. So yeah, it was a long power outage. That's why I chuckled earlier when somebody was sweating because the AC broke. I was yeah, I mean, it was the afternoon, it was raining, obviously, but it was still 80 fucking degrees, in high humidity. So there were a lot of interesting strats to try and be cool. I did catch up a little on my reading, which is good for my brain juice, because one of the books I read was I hadn't caught up on my latest Daidoji Shin, book 4. That was a great one to get my juices flowing on rain stuff, which is good. Got a lot of. I still have to chart out your boat trip real quick, but I got a lot of ideas for when you get to the capital. We're gonna have some fun.
Yeah,
some intrigue. Maybe do some mysteries stuff. It was a good time. Give me ideas for stuff. And funnily enough, I just received an email from Amazon today. The next one, next Daidoji Shin number 5 comes out in August, early August, the 6th. So perfect. With my backlog complete. I still got some big chunky books. I got to catch up on Tale of Two Pasts, and I still have the Jim Butcher Olympian affair in there. But after scooping some of that stuff out, because my battery solar powered light bulb I was using to see in my room because otherwise it's fucking dark. I busted out my ebook reader and have been also been rereading Codex Alera as well, which is another good rain juicer. But yeah, that's why there was no fail betrayal. We'll hopefully catch it next week. But it's one of those things where it's well, my power was out for 8 hours. So there's nothing I can do about that. We do have a house generator, but it's not a whole house generator. It's so that we can keep the refrigerators on for a few extra hours and stuff. So
emergency.
It's also, this is the thing some of you may not know about generators. You're not supposed to run them in the actual rain. It's not good for hot generator to touch cold water. It is a propane powered generator. But even if it's gasoline, Those produce exhaust. Do not run your generator inside. You will die. Do not do that. It has to go outside. So,
I hear the ideal thing is to put in some sort of outdoor shed.
Yeah. I don't think we have some sheds, but I don't think we have enough space to like an enclosure to do it. We could have like cracked the garage door, but it was at one point was like raining and winding very very hard. So it was just a thing where it's something we don't like to fuck with much. It was fine overall. But yeah, it's just like a thing that was like, well, there's nothing to be done. So we chilled out for a while, and it did come back later than scheduled. They were as the outages mounted, they were like, oh, power goes out at like 4. They're like, you'll have it at like 8 o'clock, and then they're like, there's actually a lot more people affected. Maybe 9. I think the last I heard was like 10 o'clock at night. It was after midnight by the time it came back. So like I said, it was over 8 hours. But yeah, like I said, that did let me catch up on my reading, but it was also very sometimes a little frustrating. Just be like, well, time to sit in the dark with the lights out, eat soup, read a book. Can't do shit, Captain. Even if I have like ideas, I cannot put them on Google Docs right now. Good.
Well, no, it's like I definitely like. I don't know what it is about laying around in the dark, but that's when the ideas happen. It truly is. You mentioned about rain, and it's like I definitely had some rain thoughts that I had to work my way through, and it happened at 2 a.m. in the morning as I'm laying in bed thinking about stuff.
Yeah,
I had to get up the next morning and put it all down.
It happens.
Yeah.
Well, that reminds me. I think we're still an episode behind.
Are we?
I will. I think the last one that went public was Logi's Labyrinth. So now we actually have the Bandito Burrito episode. I will not call it that. Yeah, Logi's Labyrinth number 7. So we gotta get 8 uploaded. Part that's my bad because I posted 7 a little late.
Oh, it's too late to take Buster for a walk. I ain't walking Buster in the dark.
Yeah, we've had a pretty long episode. We're cooking.
Yeah, but I'll do that after we get done.
Yeah. I just want to do a couple of quick notes. Number 1, first teaser trailer for the Yakuza TV series coming to Amazon got posted. It's actually looking pretty good. They got some good visuals. They got some good sounds. They're using. They showed us some shots. Like Kiryu doing Kiryu stuff. A little bit of Nishiki. We've gotten like only like a little frame of a tease of Goro. So not they're holding it in, but it is interesting. Like some people were wondering like if we were doing some Yakuza 0 stuff. It definitely seems like we're doing Yakuza 1 because they talk about like the 10-year prison sentence and stuff. But maybe we're doing like flashbacks and extra characterization and stuff, which would be good. Good for context. Seems good. The series will be in October. I did want to say some stuff about just like my current like YouTube obsession is falling into the VTuber hole again of just like being fed clips, but I think I probably have an off mic. I got a few clip zones I've been posting. I linked one video to the guys in WebVid to see about some stuff. Let's see. Let me copy my link again and post it in Patreon chat. You might find some clips about this VTuber good yourself, Lucky. This is Tenma. She's like a cute adorable fox, and very obviously English is not her first language, but also like she'll get some real good yelling in there. It's very fun.
Oh no, I know. Trust me, I know Tenma. I love Tenma.
Yeah, Tenma's great. It's good. I've been trying to keep track a little bit of some of the Hololive girls, both the parts of Gen 3 I haven't, the EN Gen 3 I haven't caught up on, but also the new ones. Still very much enjoying Raura because she is Italian. I'm like, yes, I am feeling the return to Roma. You can't see it, but I'm doing the fucking pinchy hand gesture when I speak. I've also been seeing some random clips of some indies. Cinder's pretty cool, but this is another one. I didn't watch super far in this particular video, but there's an indie VTuber who her full name is Akuma Nihume, but most call her Numi. But I think you, Lucky, would also understand her vibes if you haven't seen her. This is just a 10-minute video comp of her getting owned by the Azure Lane Gacha. And I'm just like I said, I didn't go super deep on the clip, but I'm like, Lucky may appreciate this clip. So yeah, I like I said, I've been shopping around looking for some clips. I still am not like in a mood for mostly to watch like full like 4+ hour streams or stream archives. And I mean, a lot of people dip in and out of live streams, even like on our own. But it's definitely something where just like the YouTube algorithm is working. I've clicked on a few clips and seen some stuff, and it's like it's feeding me more clips, and I'm like, I'm having a lot of fun seeing people. And the tech's getting real good. I think I've mentioned this before, but like speaking of like watching full streams, I have been also clicking up on some VShoujo girls, and like it's very interesting to me. I don't know if I could watch like Zentrea alone stream a full stream because the TTS, voice thing is like, it's a little odd to just sit back and listen to TTS all the time because she does like speech to text to speech. But like her as an entertainer, she's very impressive because she does a lot of like motion and performance capture stuff. So like, and I assume she's working with whoever her like riggers and art models are to make sure we're getting like all the best like animations, because the stuff she does with like physical acting in the VTubing space, if you can follow that, chat, is like very impressive. Always a great joy to see her in clips, because like when her TTS like translates what she said as something dumb and then her chat is like lightning quick. She's got one of those chats who are like always ready with a sound clip or something to fire off, and then just you get to see the like exasperated I'm dying inside like body language be communicated perfectly. That's real good. But the technology impresses me. Lots of very good 2Ds. But yes, so let me know what you think about the tubings, chat below. But I won't go into too much extra there. We'll pack it up because it's 1:30 in the morning. We've been recording for like 3 hours and 42 minutes, so good episode. Anything else in your thoughts, Lucky, to bring up before we skedoodle on out of here?
I have a lot of thoughts, but nothing to bring up. We can get on out of here.
Just thinking those 2 a.m. Staring at the ceiling thoughts.
Listen, I'm really high for rain.
Yeah, we're all.
Listen, you said that my maid. You asked me if my maid had any like super spy abilities, and I was like, "Shit, does she?"
I mean, yeah, no, it's the thing where I'm like, I don't know if this is like the incorrect read, but my first instinct when you're like, I'll make sure to bring my maid. She knows what's up with me, and I'm just like, wait, shit. So like, does that mean Enos has like a ninja maid? Am I gonna have to think about that one? Because like narratively, that could come up. Like if somebody tries to fucking assassinate you, you got to be true to the fiction. Like, so yeah, no, I think about these things often, and I continue to have more background details, more fluff stuff to work in, and I think we'll have an interesting time next time. I'm hoping we'll actually like depart boat, but also I would not be surprised if we don't actually depart boat because we spend 4 hours planning boat trip and making sure we're packed correctly.
Listen, I am trying to get the guys on board before we actually get to and try to decide.
Yeah, we'll probably get some more jamming out over the weekend as well. But you gotta prep, gotta pick your slots, gotta be ready.
Yep.
All right. Okay. Well, so we can go off that and let's upload the new Rain AP. We'll skedoodle on here. Thanks everybody for tuning in. I think you guys like these longer type shows. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. I think technically still the bulk of it was FGO, so good for us.
Yeah.
And obviously we'll be back next week with more Let's Talk FGO. Stay tuned for our streams. I did say that Yu-Gi-Oh! Fail Betrayal should return. On Monday, we're back streaming Great Ace Attorney, and you guys appear to be having a great time with that one. Apparently eagerly awaiting that return, since the views are scooching up a little higher than some of our other streams. And obviously Wednesday we'll be back with more Final Fantasy 14. Sorry, I tabbed over to somebody posting in games, and I'm just like, Monster Hunter. Watch out. Okay, so thanks everybody for tuning in. I guess I will do outro. Hey, so like the YouTube video, click subscribe, ring the bell, leave your comments. You can also join our Discord. We got a Discord. There's a link. You join our channel memberships for badges and emotes. That's a good way to support us. And also support us on Patreon. Get X episodes early and stuff. Patreon. There'll be a link in the end card to the Patreon if you don't know how to find it. And yes, most of these videos have little end cards. If you wait towards the last little minutes and stuff, you can get a little click links on videos and like subscribe, Patreon, stuff like that. Cool. And I actually usually put a little bit of thought about what videos and playlists and stuff are linked in the end card. So yeah, that's it from us. We'll see you next week for more. Good night, everybody.
Good night.